Today, actually two presentations. We're going to be talking about Facebook for the first hour and a half, and then we're going to be talking about LinkedIn for the second hour and a half. We'll take about a 10-minute break or so in between. So it's going to be a lot, so yeah, buckle your seatbelts, I guess. But just a quick introduction. My name is Dustin. I'm the program manager with the Pikes Small Business Development Center. We serve El Paso and Teller counties by offering free consulting, workshops, and trainings, resources for small business owners. And that can be small business owners that are starting a business. More often, it's actually businesses that are 1 to 5 years in business or about 10 or 1 to 10, 15 employees is a common type of business that we serve. But all of the educational opportunities that we have, some of them are free when they're sponsored by End Credit Union, and also when they're up here at Tri-Lakes Chamber. Usually they're about $20, so still very affordable. But as far as workshops and trainings, we have usually about 4 to 6 a week that we offer small business owners. So feel free to look at our calendar and see what's coming up, and see what would be helpful in your business. But even more importantly than that, I believe, is our one-on-one consulting. That's the main thing that we offer at the SBDC, and we actually have a satellite office up here at the Tri-Lakes Chamber, so we do have 2 consultants that come up here and consult here. We also have about 45 consultants that will consult for the whole Colorado Springs area, and those include attorneys, CPAs, people that help you with your business plans, people that help you value your business and decide when to sell your business, that kind of thing. So we have a lot of great opportunities for that one-on-one free consulting. I always encourage you guys, after you take these classes, sign up for consulting, because that's where the rubber will hit the road for a lot of you guys in your businesses and your social media pages and stuff like that, right? So real quickly, I would like to just highlight our corporate sponsors: El Paso County, City of Colorado Springs, Connectidot, Minority Business Office, and Business Banking, and the U.S. Small Business Administration. These are the guys that make our stuff affordable and free for you guys. But I also would like to bring up DeAndre Johnson with End Credit Union, and they're sponsoring all the Tri-Lakes series up here, the monthly education series, I should say. So please welcome DeAndre.
Thank you. Before I get started, does anyone here have any relatives, friends, family that's in the path of Florence or Olivia? Okay, you guys are keeping up with what's going on? Good. I think that's going to be a horrible situation, so we'll wait and see. I'm with Kintz, as Dustin just mentioned, and part of the business banking group. We have been in the community now for over 60 years. Kintz is the largest credit union in Colorado. A lot of people don't know that, because we try to keep a small time feel whenever you go into one of our service centers. But we are the largest, and we are growing. It's a great time to be part of Kintz, just because of the growth that's happening right now today as we speak. We will be opening up more locations going up north into Parker, Highlands Ranch, and just surrounding Denver. So we do have a service center here in Monuments as well. So if you ever get a chance to go in, if you don't know much about it, my card is right over there. So this is a great opportunity to get some education on small business, the things that you'll need for doing your business online and linking in with other people. So great opportunity. I'm gonna turn it back over to Dustin. If you do have questions, like I said, I do have my card right over there, and there's some more information regarding Kintz. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Awesome. 2 more things I want to highlight for you guys. Leading Edge course. This is an 8-week course that we offer that is a business planning, strategic planning course, mostly for those that are 1 to maybe 5, 6 years in business. That's the key target market for this class. This is starting October 4th, so I want you guys to know you got 2 more weeks or so to register before being able to take this 8-week class. So lastly, next month is our first ever cybersecurity summit for small businesses. So don't let this fool you. This is not a typical cyber seminar or cyber summit. It's actually designed specifically for you guys as small business owners, because I'm sure a lot of you guys, in the back of your head, you think, I know I should be more cyber safe. I know I need to be cyber aware. I don't even know where to start, and it's kind of overwhelming. So what I would suggest is go to this class, or go to this summit. This is where we want to get all that information to you in one day. So if you can set aside that day and hopefully get the education and implementation you need as a small business owner to make sure that you stay cyber secure for yourself and for your customers. So, all right, that's it for me. So we have Carrie Kintz here today, and Carrie is a founder of Melan Communications, and she's going to be teaching the Facebook part. And then the second half will be taught by Jacqueline Stables, who will be coming shortly before she's teaching. So for now, let's just welcome Carrie Kintz.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. As Dustin said, my name's Carrie, and I am also a small business owner in Colorado Springs. I went out on my own after working in a nonprofit organization for 14 and a half years and decided to take the leap and be my own boss, which has been great, and as some of you all know, also sometimes very terrible. But I have worked in digital PR, social media for the last 11 years. I've literally, I think if I've not made a mistake on social media, I don't want to make it, and so I'm coming to you not from Facebook expert, that kind of thing, but as someone who learned and grew with the platform over the last decade. So, in your handouts, you're going to see a ton of different slides. Because I only have an hour and a half today, I've pared it down to what I thought was the most essential for you to walk away with today. However, if you have questions, if you at the end or later on down the road you want to talk more about it, my contact information, my social media profiles are at the end, and I'm always happy to have a conversation over a cup of coffee. So, because coffee is my favorite. So, using Facebook to promote small business. So, a lot of conversation happens around Facebook, right? There's been a lot of political conversation around Facebook. There's been a lot of conversation about whether or not it's even still a viable place for people to use and promote for their small business. And I would say yes. If you are thoughtful about how you approach the platform, you can use this successfully, and success is how you measure it to promote your business. So I want to just kind of take any sort of burden that you have off your shoulder right at the front. Success is what you put in place and how you measure your impact on Facebook. There's no one right way to do it. There's a lot of different options. So we're going to talk through some of those options, and then hopefully when you walk away, you'll walk away with more confidence about how to attack Facebook. So just really quickly, when you look at your Facebook homepage, there's really important information that you need to have filled out, okay? So your header image, which now on Facebook can be a static image or video. So video is something you're going to hear a lot about over the next hour and a half. There are unique ways on Facebook to utilize video. It's not just going live, it's not just posting static video, but that header image can be a video, and I've got a couple of examples further on down the line to show you. But you can post just a GIF, a looping video, something that really represents your business, okay? Your profile image, again, this can be your logo, it can be your headshot, but it should be something recognizable to your brand or business. Facebook has a button, and you can do learn more, read more, shop, donate, whatever you want people to do, make that your call to action there, because as you scroll down the page, that is going to be something that people are going to be accessing at any point. So it's a very strategic button, and when we chat very quickly about Facebook ads, you can actually put ad dollars behind that button and promote it. So it's important to think about what call to action you want for that button. And then your history. What's the story of your business? Why did you go out on your own? Why are you working for a small company? What's the impact you hope to have on your community? These places are where people can really engage with who you are. This is your chance to shine. Your chance to really just show people why you care about Colorado Springs, why you care about Monument, why do you want to be a small business versus just somebody who's working for a corporation. So share about the impact you want to have. And then post. Obviously, this is where you share all of your stuff, your pictures, your videos, your blog posts, your tips, your tricks, your quotes, whatever you decide to post, that is what you're going to do. So, when we look at Facebook, there are a few things to keep in mind. When you've looked at your content, which can be photos, which can be videos, which can be all sorts of things, you will have an option as to how A, you put it on Facebook, and B, when people see it. So you've got published posts, which is all the content that you shared that shows up, right? Everybody's timeline. They're searchable. If you've posted it just publicly and you haven't put an expiration date on it, it will pop up. So again, just going back to some of the conversations that are going on around social media and Facebook, people are always searching online for things that people have posted. So if you don't want it to show up, probably don't put it on the internet. But if you don't want it to show up as something that looks old or dated when it comes to your brand, you can use Expiring Post, which is this last one down here. So say you have a promotion for your business, a special at 25% off facials, or hail damage has happened, so you're offering, a 50% off coupon for the first 50 customers. You can post that and then put an expiration date on it, so that way it doesn't show back up in your feed and you don't have customers coming to you 6 weeks down the line saying, hey, I saw this post, are you still doing this? And you either have to horribly disappoint them or decide, hey, we're willing to eat that. So when it comes to small business, expiring posts are something that are really, really helpful to use, especially if you're promoting. Drafts are, I'm kind of going to work bottom up. Drafts are really important because you can just start to dump content in there. So let's say you've come up with a really great post, but you don't want to share it yet, or it's something that would be really good for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. You can create that as a draft, save it, and go back later on down the line and edit it or tweak it depending on what you're looking for. So it's just a really great, drafts are a really great place to dump content that you're not using right away. So just a thought for that. Scheduled posts, again, you create your post, you have the ability to edit and change out your image on a scheduled post. Once you've kind of created a content calendar or you've got an idea of what you want to post for the week to take the heat off, you can go in, you can schedule those posts, and then you can set reminders for yourself to go back and take a look at what you've posted. And then like I said, published posts, it's all the content that you shared. It shows up. It's searchable in Facebook. It is searchable through Google. So again, thinking about Facebook and really any social media presence, be thoughtful about what you post online and really tailoring those messages to what you want your customer to experience, what you want them to feel, what you want them to think about you, and also most importantly, how your service, how your brand integrates into their lives, because that's what keeps us coming back, right? To any brand that we love, to any small business that we love, any celebrity that we love, what keeps us coming back? Why do we like them? Why do we feel that connection? And all of your posts, whether they're scheduled or they're expired, whatever they are, the whole point is to draw people in and show them how your stories fit together. That's social media 101. Yes?
So when you set this up, it goes out to, if you've got 100 people or 300 people, it goes out to everybody.
It goes out to everybody, not just one person. You can segment your posts. You can target your posts based on location, based on age, based on gender. You can segment your posts like that if you want to. It significantly drops your reach depending on how many fans you have on your page, but you can do that. Generally, I recommend if you're going to segment your audience, doing that in ads and kind of get a test and a feel for who your audience is, what they're responding to, and then keep your content out there for your whole audience to see. And again, segmentation comes in when you start your business. You start with an idea or a product or a service, right? But then as you're moving along, you're also thinking about who is my ideal customer? Who do I really want to talk to? And so when you're creating posts, that's who your content should be going out to. That's who you're talking to, right? Is your ideal customer, is your ideal buyer, purchaser, partner, whoever it is. And so that's when you're consistently creating, when you're writing, when you're posting photos, it should be with that ideal customer in line and also in mind, and then also kind of that low-hanging fruit branching out from there. And I tell people, Facebook, social media, all of that, this is just an extension of your business, right? Social media isn't your business, but your business has a place on social media. And so using it to really supplement what you already do is why Facebook is important. It's not the business, but it helps your business. And so just kind of taking all the things that you've already done for your business, all of the planning, right? All of the strategy, thinking about your ideal audience, thinking about your brand, what you want to communicate. You're just tweaking that slightly, shifting it just an inch, right? To get it on social. So there's things that you've already done to build a solid foundation for your business that you can implement on social. So it's just taking that and turning it just a little bit and making it fit for online audiences. And then hopefully those online audiences translate into in-person sales or phone calls or emails, whatever your desired action is. So when you post, you're going to want to look at data. And looking at data is really important. You are going to want to look at likes. So how many people like your page? And again, this isn't a measurement of success, right? How many likes I have is not as important as how many people I'm engaging, right? But also, likes aren't necessarily a measure of influence. So you may have 300 people who like your page, but are they 300 people who are super engaged in your brand and really love what you do and talk about it online? Then you're an influencer, and those 300 people are really important. So it's just looking at who's liked your page. Likes are important because then you can break down those likes into demographics, right? Reach, this is where all of your engagement data lives. So after you post something, whether it's a video, whether it's a photo, whether it's a link, a blog post, whatever it is, reach is where you want to be looking at how many people it hit, but then out of how many people saw it, how many people did something with it, how many people reacted to what you posted, how many people recommend your page to others or have written a review, that kind of thing. There's a tab for videos. When you share a video or a Facebook Live event, you can dig into the data of how they performed, right? So you can look at data. I was not a data head when I started in social media, and I was really bored by it, but I started to understand that data is actually really important because your audience is telling you a story about you, and I have that in there. It's telling you whether what you're posting resonates with them or not, and that is really, really important. And then Facebook just launched Stories, which can only be updated via the mobile app. They're testing it out on pages where you can upload stories via your page. Like on Instagram, you have your photos that you post, and then you have an opportunity to share a story. Facebook has rolled that out as well. And so you can test it out on your desktop, but I would recommend playing with it on mobile because you'll get a good sense as to how your stories look, and most people are accessing your content on Facebook via the mobile app.
So are you going to show any screenshots?
Yep, I will.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to give you an overview of what we're actually looking at. I've got several pages up where we can kind of look at practically what this looks like. Yep, absolutely, and I'll show you. So, kind of just looking at what we've just overviewed. I'm going to exit out here really quick with that in mind. So, here is one page, and all of the pages except for two that I'm going to show you today are community small businesses, right? There's small businesses here in El Paso County. And these are people that I have followed, I've engaged with, I shop with, shop at, that kind of thing. And I want to show you some of what they're doing that I think is really good. So as we were talking about, you see their first post is what pops up right here. And he's Alan is promoting, he's really enjoying some pumpkin ale this morning, or whenever it was, a couple nights ago. I was like, he's a day drinker, we love Alan. He's day drinking. But, so here's what I love about this. So like I said, I hop on Sparrowhawk Cookware. The first thing I see is the last thing he posted, unless there was a pinned post up there. And you can pin a post if it's important, it's timely, that kind of thing. But this is the first thing that I see. Now, I follow Alan personally. He's a friend of mine, which I met him on social media. But I love this picture. I love this picture because it's personal. he's a business, but this is personal. He's promoting what he really enjoys. He's tapping into the pumpkin obsession everywhere, right? It's, you know, basic white girl's favorite season in the whole world. We love pumpkin everything. And so he's got a lot going on. It's a neighborhood picture, so it ties right into the neighborhood that he's in. There's a lot happening here. And I can tell you that he's really thoughtful about what he posts. So he's really good at integrating personal and professional. So as we scroll
I've got a
down,
question.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, but that's not his product.
No, it's not.
That's just something about who he is.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, for sure. So he is really good at that. Every night, he posts a Good Night Colorado Springs post that's a reflection of the city through his logo. Recommendations pop up here. He's been recommended by 11 people. Like, literally was the first customer in this magical, awesome kitchen store. Like, I mean, these reviews are really important. So again, if you're doing a service, if you are offering a product, what you're promoting, once people start to use it, they will come back and review you on Facebook, and it will show up. So again, you've got starting to get a convergence on Facebook of not just what you post to promote, but then people starting to post back and review what you're promoting and what you're doing. And so it's really important, again, to make sure you know why you're on social media. Why are you on Facebook? What are you looking to promote? And having a very clear plan about what that is, because that's going to translate online. If you don't have a clear plan and you're not thoughtful about what you're posting, A, you won't be consistent, and B, you'll see just, it'll reflect in how you post and what you say, and your customers will take note of that. There are people whose product I really love, businesses that I really love, and when I search online to see if they've updated something or something's new and they haven't posted in a while, I'm kind of like, well, how am I supposed to know? And that's this generation, right? That's the millennial generation, that's Gen Z. Gen Z, more than millennials, read peer reviews. So again, that's why this review section is so important. And the underlying basis of getting good reviews is providing good customer service, being communicative with your potential buyers, with your potential customers, with your ideal customers. And then if something bad happens, which, right, there's gonna be somebody out there who doesn't like what you do or doesn't like your service or your product, being available and responding. And so recommendations show up and you keep scrolling. You've got the shop here. You can add a shop to Facebook. If you see all of these tabs down here, these are all things that you can play with. You've got your posts, your reviews, your photos that you post in your shop. So if you're selling a product, even if you're selling services, you can make your shop fit what you're trying to get people to buy into. You can use it as a place where you add your sales or your promotions in here. I provide strategy and communication services for nonprofits. If I had a Facebook page, which in full confession, I don't, I use my personal Facebook page because that's just been easier for me and that's how people have connected with me. But if I had a page, I could provide my services here. I could add pictures and I could set price points and people could come and find it. So it's looking at this as like an extension of your store or an extension of your business. It's an arm that's going to be helpful to you in promoting your product or your services. We saw photos. Here's the video tab. Again, talking about the different types of content you can post videos. Videos are hugely engaging on Facebook, especially Facebook Live. Facebook Live is the #1 engagement getter on Facebook, and it's the #1 metric that Facebook is looking at. And Facebook considers a successful video to be something that is viewed more than 3 seconds. So that's considered successful. So that's essentially the attention span that we have. 3 seconds. 3 seconds, because you know what happens. Where's my phone? I have my phone. I'm sitting here and I'm on Facebook and this is what I'm doing, right? That's all I'm doing. Look at how many videos I just scrolled past, but I'm not stopping. If I'm slow, I get 3 seconds and I keep going unless it really captures my attention. this is what people are doing. I know all of you do it. Don't act like you don't, because you do. And it's usually laying in bed like this, hoping that your phone doesn't fall on your face. So, right, let's just be honest about that. But that's why Facebook considers a successful video something that's viewed more than 3 seconds, because of the scroll function. Infinite scroll, we have so many things to scroll through. So again, that's why your strategy can't be about reaching Facebook. Can't be about reaching people on Facebook. It has to be targeted to reaching people you want to connect with your business, who's your ideal customer. That has to be your strategy. And they are on Facebook. But if your whole strategy is to be on Facebook just to reach people on Facebook, you're probably going to be a little bit sad about the results that you get. So all of that foundational stuff that you've done to make your business successful or to get your business up off the ground, just take that information and translate it into a social strategy, because there's not a whole lot that's different. We're looking at profit and loss, right? We're looking at how much it takes to rent a space, or how much I should charge an hour for consulting, or whatever, and it's just taking those things, your time, which is also very valuable, and translating that and adopting it so that this piece of your business is helpful to your success and not detrimental to it. Most people who don't take the time to really figure out why they're on social media, why they want to be on Facebook, get frustrated with the platform and quit. And then all of a sudden they've got this ghost town of a page that just tumbleweeds, they're just chilling and hanging out on, and then somebody goes to Google and searches your business and they land on your Facebook page and they see you haven't posted anything for 2 years. And so that's what I really want to encourage you with. Again, all of the strategy that's gone into you making your business a success or getting it up off the ground, apply that same mentality to your Facebook page, to your social media strategy, and make it work for you. Don't make it feel like you're working for it. Make Facebook work for you. It is possible. And then, of course, I mean, just because I'm a Broncos fan, we had a really cool Broncos set up in the window downtown. So, the other thing that I really like what Alan does is and to your point, he mixes personal with professional, and he is not afraid to promote other businesses. And so that's the other thing, especially on social media, be community minded. You're a small business. You want to connect with other small businesses. We're all here together today to learn, but chances are during the break, we're going to chat with each other. We're going to ask, what do you do? Why do you do it? How is there a way for us to partner even? And one thing I really love about Facebook is you can be community minded on this platform. This platform that is essentially the size of a small country, 2 billion people use it. Small, I say small country, but I mean, relatively speaking. But you can use it and be community minded. You can be small business minded. And especially going into the fall when Small Business Saturday is coming up, right, in November, not only a great time to promote your business, but if you're connected with other small businesses in the community, it's a great time to promote on Facebook. So he encourages people not only to come and purchase from his store, but here are great restaurants. Here are other great stores that you can connect with. And so part of being on social media and being successful on social media is not just promotion of your own stuff, but it's sharing this in the success of others. And when people really do see that you're community minded, that makes them want to purchase from you. Alan, I don't live downtown, but Alan is the cooking store that I shop at. I've got a Bed Bath & Beyond by my house, and I won't go there. I love his gadgets. His prices may be a little bit higher, but I know that I'm supporting somebody in my community. And so he's created enough engaging content to keep me connected. And another point on the personal, his mother used to work in the store. His mother and his father are the ones who started Sparrowhawk Cookware, and she passed away a couple years ago. But he had shared pictures of her in the store, and pictures of them going to Willamette Deli, and all of these things, and you felt like you knew her. And there were so many people who were heartbroken when she passed away. And the outpouring of love back to Alan was something that he over and over again just shared. He was blown away by. He had no clue that in just sharing a slice of life connected with his business, which was his mother, and just her slowly deteriorating condition, but man, when she was in the store, she lit it up would have such a huge impact on the community. The community felt her loss when she passed away, because Alan just shared her and how much she loved Colorado Springs and how much she loved cooking and how much she loved the fact that her sons were carrying on the tradition of Sparrowhawk cookware. So don't be afraid to get personal on Facebook. Don't be afraid to mix that in.
So to do it like him, you have to have a constant mindset of taking pictures and what you're gonna be promoting, right?
Yep, and just the next section is gonna go right into that.
I got a question.
Yeah.
I know that there are different layouts. They give us like 6 different options
Right.
for page layouts. And some of those sections I want to omit, like if I didn't want the shop or the community section, but it doesn't allow you.
Right.
So I have to have, because I'm just trying to eliminate the whole scrolling past something that I'm not inserting.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that is the downside of Facebook, right? Like, they don't make some things easily accessible or easily adjustable because they still control the platform. It's not like using WordPress or Squarespace where you can kind of plug in all that you want to. Yeah, there are some things that they're gonna just create across the board that you won't be able to adjust or omit.
I would say if you could figure out ways that you could potentially use them for something, then that's usually the best way to approach it.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if it's not the direct application it's meant for, just trying to figure out the best way you can leverage it to
Yeah.
your usage.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
essentially.
absolutely. So, we've talked a little bit, we've looked at that, and I wanna go back into, just some of the things that we were talking about. I really wanna start my slideshow again, guys. There we go. Okay, so, looking at Alan's page, looking at Sparrowhawk Cookware, looking at some of the strategies behind what he posts, I want to go into why are you on Facebook? Why are you on social media? You have to have purpose, right? Your business has purpose, so everything in your business, everything that you do in business has some sort of strategy or reason behind why you're doing it, right? Like, hopefully we've taken the time to kind of figure that out. Social media is no different. And so, as I've mentioned, the algorithm looks at meaningful content, right? And social media can really be used to promote. But what people are really looking for is connection. And so if you provide good content, you earn the right to promote your product, Guy Kawasaki. And that's really true. So again, thinking about the emotional touch points of your business and being able to translate that into what you share is going to go a long way to getting people engaged. So this is video, it's photos, it's meaningful quotes or content that you've created or that you've curated and sharing it online. So first of all, you have to set your expectations. And this is what I tell people to avoid the full frustration coming to fruition where you're like, Facebook is the worst and I never want to use it again and I'm frustrated and I'm done and I tap out. If you look at these 4 things here and integrate them as a part of your Facebook strategy, I'm not saying that you won't ever be frustrated with Facebook because I've been using it a long time and sometimes I still want to chuck it out the window. But you will have a good foundation and that's really important. So like I said, what's your purpose? It cannot be I have to be on Facebook, right? If we force ourselves to do anything, what are the chances that we stick with it long term, right? So what's my reason? What's my own emotional reason for wanting to connect with my ideal audience on Facebook? And think through that. Be thoughtful about that. Take your business mission statement or vision or whatever it is and just translate it down to social. You have to have a website because when people search, that's where people are going to engage. So why do you have to be on Facebook? Why do you want to be on Facebook? Be thoughtful about answering that question. Time. This is a really huge one. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I could probably guess the answer, but my time is valuable, right? And so in our business, it is accurately trying to put hours to how much time we're willing to commit to Facebook. And again, there's no right answer to this, but I will tell you, whatever you decide to pour into it is probably what you're going to get out of it, right? So if you're like, I only have an hour a week, and you're not really willing to like give a little bit more, you don't feel like you have a little bit more to give, then you're probably not going to see as much result as you want to, unless, I mean, you're some sort of magical wizard and that time is just like, you know, I don't even know, like you've just blown it all out of crazy amazingness, and then it just brings high return.
Are you thinking like 30 minutes a day, or what kind of time investment are you?
Yeah, so I would recommend 2 to 4 hours a week to start. I know it sounds like a lot, right? And that's baseline. So that's to get yourself launched, because once you find a rhythm, it's not going to take that long. Once you start to figure out the idiosyncrasies of the platform, it's not going to take that much time moving forward. But to get yourself started, and I'm telling you baseline, is 2 to 4 hours a week. Because when you're starting, you're going to be looking at what type of content starts to resonate with your audience, what type of pictures. Even before that, what kind of content do I have? Do I have a blog? Do I have a website to pull things from? Am I a photographer? Do I have photos that people have signed releases for to share online? Like, what kind of content do you have in order to start building a cohesive strategy to then share that on Facebook? Because Facebook is a content platform. All social media is a content platform. And so that's what you have to think about. How much time am I willing to commit? And then look at where am I already spending time creating content? And then absolutely taking the time that I'm putting into creating that content and thinking about, how do I tweak it? How do I tweak it for Facebook? How do I share this? What makes this compelling? I have a client who's a blogger, and she writes these really long, beautiful posts. And there are a lot of people out there who say, oh, you should only share up to 45 characters in a Facebook post. And there's only one right time on this day to post something. And a lot of times, it's a bunch of junk. And here's why. Because your audience is unique to your business. And so take the time to figure out when they are online. Take the time to engage when they're present on the platform. Like I said, there's no magical beans for Facebook to make this magically all click together. It takes the same kind of dedication and hard work engaging with your customers here that it does just when you're interacting with them, whether it's through email or face-to-face or anything like that. And again, think about how you want to be treated as a customer. Think about how you want businesses to engage with you. What don't you like? What do you like? Incorporate those things into what you do. But again, looking at time, when you're just getting started and you're just trying to figure out how to use Facebook, make space for that in your business. And if you make space, if you make that time, you'll start to see the return on investment. I worked with a client who had a really great email list, and they had a really great magazine, and they wanted to make the transition to Facebook. They had done all the research, and they had consistent feedback. Why don't you have a Facebook page? Why don't you have a Facebook page? And they came to me as a social media, person and said, well, we want to do this. And I said, great. If your audience is asking for this and you've got the data to back it up, cool, let's do it. However, I'm going to make you sign this statement, and I did, that says that you will at minimum run this page for 6 months. I said, because I will guarantee you will come back to me in 3 weeks and tell me that it's not working and want to quit. I said, but it's going to take time. You've got to build trust. Even if your audience is telling you that they want this, sometimes it takes time for us to actually then follow through on what we've communicated we wanted to a business, right? Sure enough, 3 weeks later, they were like, oh, we hate it. It's the worst. We don't want to do it. And I said, you just need to give it time. And by the time we were done with that contract at the end of 6 months, they had 3,000 likes. They had a highly engaged, highly motivated audience that really loved their content and was sharing it with their friends. But it took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of time. And it took building and figuring out what's working, what's not, and chucking what's not working. Even if you love it so much, like maybe you built something or you took pictures or you did something and it's so beautiful, and the internet's telling you that your baby is ugly. I'm sorry, right? I can't tell you how many times the internet has told me that my design baby is ugly, right? And I thought it was just the most beautiful, precious thing in the whole entire world. And so sometimes even if we really love it, we have to be willing to let go of it and start to test out the things that our audience is telling us they want from us and see how it goes. So all of that is in time, and it goes into ability. right? Can you create pictures with quotes? And there's tons of resources to help you do that. Are you willing to take time to learn, to plan, to create, to test? Again, you've put that time and passion into your business. Are you willing to do that for using this arm of your business on Facebook? And then outcomes, again, tied into your purpose. What are your goals for Facebook? Is it conversion? Is it just brand awareness? Is it conversation? What is it? Identify those things, and then as you identify those things, and they may adjust over time, but as you identify those things, then you'll start to have measurable data to see whether or not this is a worthy investment for you. So on Facebook, there are a couple pieces of content that are really meaningful. And I stuck with these two. Again, in your packet, you're gonna see slides that aren't in here. If you have questions, let me know, but I stuck with these two because this really is what comes back time and time again, right? We've become very visual in terms of the content that we consume online. Scientists talk about our brains now like we consume in pixels versus like being able to read words. Our brain processes pixels faster than the written word now. So that's why video is so important. So Facebook Live. Okay, how many people like being on camera? Raise your hands.
We get used to it.
Yeah, right? So terrifying in the beginning, right? Because you hate the sound of your own voice, you don't like the way you look, and that lighting was terrible, you've got 7 chins, and why is my hair sticking up back here? But here's the good news. Everybody looks weird on Facebook Live, right? unless you're like a big conglomerate company, right? When everybody's starting out, they're just trying to figure it out. So take the pressure off yourself with Facebook Live and just do it. Just do it, right? So it's meaningful because Facebook Live puts real people in front of your audience. If you are like me, you are probably your brand. You are probably your small business in some degree. You're a face of it somehow. People want to engage with that, right? So take a deep breath and hit go live. You know, and again, put planning behind it. Think about what you want to say. Think about how long you want to go live. Think about all of the ways that you can use live video. Do interviews, show products, have conversations, all of those things. But it is one of those things that brings a lot of engagement, brings a lot of awareness. And then the great thing is, or not so great depending on how you feel about the video, is that once you're done with live video, it posts to your page. So it's there. It's a piece of content that consistently be engaged with. Go ahead.
What do you connect on the page?
So you use your phone.
Okay.
You can also use your computer. But again, I recommend using your phone, using your mobile device, because that is how most people are accessing the content anyway. And sometimes Facebook still hasn't quite perfected the transition between desktop and mobile. And because they design with mobile first in mind, it's always good to use that tool.
On your page, on your phone, is there a button that says live video?
Yes, so they're actually going live right now.
For the chamber.
Okay.
Everybody say hi.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, Dustin told me that we were going live about 10 minutes before the class started, guys, so that's cool. I was like, it's a good thing. It's a good thing I've done. Woo! That could almost be viral as I knock this down. But I don't mind live video. So yeah, when you go to post, you write your post, and then there's options. There's button options for photo, post, live video, all of that when you go into your options. And so when you go live, it's gonna kind of give you just a couple of seconds, and then you're gonna be live. And you'll see a little bar at the bottom that says, wait a couple of minutes, we're gathering people to watch your live video. I would also, if you plan on doing Facebook Live with any regularity, do a post that lets people know you're planning on doing it. To engage people and bring people in. And that's what's really important.
Is there an advantage of doing Facebook Live versus a pre-recorded video?
So pre-recorded video, I would stick with live because Facebook really values its own product, right? They're a business as well. They really value their own product. So they are putting a premium in terms of the type of content that gets out to your audience, and they place the highest value on live video. So I would recommend getting comfortable with live. You can still use pre-recorded video, but I would start testing out live first.
And how long would a segment be?
I would go minimum start 5 minutes.
Can you go, like I would do a cooking demo,
No. The longer that so you can go, well, I think they've adjusted it, but the time limit used to be, I think, like 4 hours. So, I mean, if you want to go 4 hours live, go for it. But I think if you're doing a cooking demonstration, you've got your iPhone up on a tripod, and you've got a good shot, a good wide angle shot that shows people what you're doing, and you're like, I'm gonna go live for an hour. Okay, great, go for it. And it's one of those things that you can just test, The other good thing about going live is then, once it's done, like I said, it posts to your page. And so people will still be able to access that content. It's not ephemeral content, it goes back, it doesn't just disappear. So it goes back up, and I would highly recommend just testing it out and see what people want. I did a show for a year called Unfiltered, and we did live video. It was a friend of mine, him and I did a social media show, and we were on for an hour, and we had people consistently engaging. I mean, we hammed it up. We didn't care. We knew we looked dumb, like just testing out those first couple of times. You could tell at first we felt uncomfortable, but the longer we did it, the more comfortable we felt, and the more people engaged. And so I would just really encourage you just to try, right? Embrace failure and embrace the unknown, right? Because like I said, nobody's getting it perfect on their first try. And so just take comfort in that. I mean, all the videos that we watch of people doing silly things, the guy who tries to jump off the diving board into the frozen pool, and it's really frozen, he slides all the way out. I mean, there are people, take comfort in the fact that there are people who look dumber than you on the internet, and there always will be. But just try. You don't know if you don't try. And so I would just really encourage you to do that.
And as a person that sits there and does Facebook Live a lot, you can actually interact with the people watching it while you're videoing it, which is really fun because, if somebody pops up like Jody, you could say, "Hi, Jody!"
Yeah.
And for that person, it really is like, cool,
Yeah.
she knows that I'm there, or whatever. So it's really handy.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. One of my clients, she's the blogger. She loves to write, but live really terrifies her. Facebook Live video really terrifies her, and it took a year and a half for me to convince her to take some of the stuff out of her book and make live videos around it, and she finally did it. And just seeing that engagement and seeing that people were present when she was doing it was huge. It was like, oh, this really does work, and it absolutely does. So again, like anything, just be thoughtful. Put the time in before you go live to make it successful. I mean, unless you're really comfortable with winging it. So.
On the live, once it's on your page, can you add text to it and tag people and stuff like you can an uploaded video?
Yeah, you can. You can go back and edit the description. You can still comment on it. You can do all of those things, for sure. The other thing that I like is any content that you create, it never has one single purpose, right? So here's what I like about Facebook Live. You can do a live video, and then it posts back up onto your page. So there it is as a static, almost looking like a pre-recorded video or whatever. If you're really ambitious, you can download that video, and you can cut it up into segments. And you can take snippets out of it and then share it again, right? So you can look at ways to consistently repurpose your content out of one video. Say you just did this Facebook Live video and it was so amazing, and you were just so wise and so incredible, and you want to share that again, right? I want to share this 5-minute snippet where I just was the most wise and incredible person on the face of the planet. You can download that video, and then there are so many video editing apps for your phone. I love it. You can just literally upload it, use the little finger slicers on the side, 5 minutes, then download it, then you can re-upload it to Facebook, right? So you've done one Facebook Live, but you can take that content and you can snippet it down into short 30-second videos, 90-second videos, 2-minute videos. Or maybe you want to reach people on YouTube. You can download that video, you can upload it to YouTube, right? Which is great for search, all that kind of stuff. You can then take the embed code from YouTube, you can put it on your blog, right? I mean, when you're going to create any kind of content on Facebook, it doesn't just have one purpose. Always have another purpose in mind when you're creating content. That way you're not working yourself to the bone. Again, make your content work for you. Maybe you referenced a quote. Put that quote on an image and share it again.
I know that we can share from Instagram to Facebook.
Yes.
Have they made it where it goes opposite direction now? Like I can share something?
Mm-mm.
I can't share something on Instagram. So I just gotta repost it.
You just gotta repost it, but again, I would be careful about doing that. I would be thoughtful about doing that because each social media platform is like its own country. It has its own language, right? It has its own customs. And it's like I go to another country and I open my mouth and everybody in that other country knows that I'm not from that other country, right? They know I'm American. Social media is that way. And that's why I say be thoughtful. So if you're gonna be on Facebook, then be thoughtful, study Facebook, study what works on Facebook, what people are looking for. If you're gonna be on Instagram, again, study what people are looking for. Like Instagram is still huge into hashtags, right? They're like hashtag, man, you can hashtag up to 30 things on Instagram. Really beautiful, carefully curated photos on Instagram. Where Facebook, it's more just like, hi, here's this picture of my baby. She just spit up all over my shoulder. Isn't it great? Right? I mean, it's those kinds of things. And so it's learning the customs of each profile and then honoring that. Because there may be people who are so loyal to you and love you so much that they're following you on every platform that you're on. But if they start to see a pattern of the exact same content written the exact same way popping up on every single platform, then they're going to disengage. So again, it takes time and it takes thoughtfulness and it takes creating a solid strategy to post. And I would also encourage you to say, you don't have to be everywhere. You do not have to be on every single platform. Pick which one you think is going to work the best for your business and then pour yourself into it. And become an absolute high-end genius user of the platform as much as you feel like you're able, rather than spreading yourself too thin across all sorts of platforms and just exhausting yourself and exhausting your customer.
Another question. When somebody posts to your page, do you respond to them right away?
I would say it's always good to be pretty responsive. I would say don't let a whole day go by without responding. But if you can respond within an hour, that's good.
What if you have 100 people
I would
posting?
just go through and kind of look at, are people saying the same thing, right? Are they responding with the same thing over and over again, or a same question? Then I would go and create some sort of response that addresses the collective question that people are asking. With some of them, maybe you don't even have to respond to what they've said, but you can like it or you can create some sort of reaction with it. But something that shows that you're present versus just letting it go is going to be infinitely more valuable to your audience. And when I said 2 to 4 hours, in that time that you're giving to Facebook, some of that is being present to respond, right? It's being present to absolutely just be available for the people who are posting to your page. And again, just being thoughtful about that. What do you like about businesses? Who makes you, what makes a business look good to you? Why do you care? Why do you engage? And do those practices in your own business.
I was just gonna say it's all about setting expectations.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Pretty much
for
what you
sure.
said, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So Facebook Live, again, video being the most important thing that Facebook really values. Photos, I mean, gosh, everybody posts photos. So anything special that you can do with photos, pictures of your customers, that kind of thing, are going to be really important. And I want to show you. So this is downtown Colorado Springs.
That's sold out already.
They have, they have this video that they did, the Men Exchange. They've got, so look at the data here. So they had 43 reactions. Okay, great. 28 comments, 17 shares. But I can guarantee you that this 1,800 views are engaged based on 3-second views of video. But people are watching it. People are engaging with it. Versus, this is a beautiful photo. It's beautiful and it's reflecting on 9/11. But again, look, just based on engagement alone, here's this. right? People liked it. It meant something to some people, but nobody shared, nobody commented. I can guarantee you that that video got put in front of their audience a lot more. There are probably people who have notifications turned on. On a page, if you're following a brand, you can turn on notifications for when they go live. So again, that's just another aspect. If you got people who are really engaged in your brand, tell them, hey, turn on notifications for when we go live. That way you don't miss out on what we want to share with you.
Carrie,
That kind of thing. Yeah.
can you walk me through, walk all of us
Yeah.
through, how would you post to that? And how would you like it?
How would you post the picture or Facebook
No,
Live?
let's say we're responding to that, and you said, so many people liked it, so many people watched the
Shared it.
video.
Here? Right here? Is this what you're talking about? On the video?
Okay, so how do you click that center button to watch it,
Mm-hmm.
but how do you, like on the police officer, when you said so many people liked it,
Mm-hmm.
what do you click on there to like it?
So you've got your like button here,
Okay.
right? So this when you hover over this, there are your reactions, right?
Gotcha.
I will tell you right here that reactions are fine, but you want people to comment on it, you want people to share it, right? So again, this is why you have to be thoughtful about the type of content that you create. If you're creating valuable content and your people are sharing it, it means that they liked it enough to then share it with their own sphere of influence. That's really important. That's why shares are important. Views are important as well, but that share is really, really important.
Do you recommend like engagement tools for resharing posts as far as like giveaways or some type, like if you shared this page with 3 of your friends, or, like what, or
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can definitely do that. Facebook still is a little bit funky in terms of the type of language that you use in your post, because what they're looking for is for you to create content that's so engaging that it can be engaging on its own, right, organically, versus telling people what they have to do with it. Those types of posts can work. I had a client who really wanted to do a giveaway, and we've done it twice now, because they have an event coming up and we're giving away tickets. And we've told people, comment on this, tag people in it, share it. I don't do that with any other type of post. And so I feel like because that's not the language that we regularly incorporate into what we share, Facebook didn't penalize us when we did it. It was clear it was a contest, it was clear it was a short piece of content, it wasn't gonna be around for forever, but I would discourage you from putting that type of language just in your everyday organic type posts. Really focus on quality content that you know is engaging. And again, be thinking about what you like. What do you engage with on Facebook? What catches your eye? And if it fits your brand, work on incorporating that into your own type of content. But giveaways and that kind of thing, I don't see any problem with that as long as you're not doing one every single week where it's got that kind of who wants to do that, right? Nobody.
When you say penalize, do you mean like they're varying content if they
They'll-
don't like tag words?
Yep, yeah, it will drop. Organic is already in the toilet. It really is. But they have, so I was just at Facebook 2 months ago, and they were talking about that, because again, their whole focus is on putting on people to really be creative with the type of content that they're putting out there. And really, again, it's about honoring your audience and why they're engaging with you there in the first place. And so making sure that is something that you're just consistently testing, and consistently trying new things to catch your audience's eye.
I guess while we're on the topic, do you want to educate everyone on kind of the recent mentality shift Facebook's had towards businesses versus?
It's not great.
Algorithm.
Yeah, they changed.
New algorithm.
Yeah, they change the algorithm all the time. And again, having just been at Facebook with a lot of nonprofits and businesses, what they were saying to us is we're not trying to penalize businesses, but again, they're saying that the feedback that they're getting is that people would rather interact with person to person and their own network versus businesses. And I think how businesses overcome that is by becoming personal. And so you're going to have your business page. Facebook is still working on tweaking and updating that piece of the platform all the time. But the refrain I heard over and over and over again at Facebook is, what kind of content are you creating that is engaging? So that's their buzzword, is engagement. Is your content, do people want to engage? And versus a like being at the bottom, right? Are they commenting on it? Are they sharing it? Because that's going to get you interaction with people. And yeah, a lot of businesses have seen their reach, their ability to get their information in front of their audience drop. That is to be sure. But I have a lot of people who work in small business who have just really pressed in to the type of content they know their audience wants, and they're not seeing as bad a kickback when the algorithm changes. And when they do, they're willing to adjust. So I don't want to discourage you with that, but again, that's why I keep emphasizing, be thoughtful. Be thoughtful about what you post. You know, stay on top of trends. And at the end of this, I have a link on my website that's password protected, but I list several resources that you can use, several apps you can use, places where you can find free photos if you don't have photos. You know, like again, apps you can use to create stunning memes and that kind of thing. Places where if you do videos, you can get captions loaded onto your videos, because a lot of video on Facebook is watched without the sound on. Books you can read, resources available, places where you can find the most recent algorithm updates. So you've got the best amount of information to stay on top of it.
So does this somehow tie into when people talk about getting put in Facebook jail? What's that? What is that?
You can get put in Facebook jail for a lot of reasons. Most of the time, Facebook jail comes from using music or video or photo that you don't have the copyright to use. That's the highest amount of Facebook jail time I've seen. You know, if you're Facebook living an event and you don't have the right license to where your music can be heard over the Facebook video and you violate that so many times, they'll put you in jail. So.
Spammy behavior too.
Spammy behavior. If you as a small business are just going to all of these pages and saying like, this product's great, we have something very similar, come like our page, Facebook's gonna be like, no, whack-a-mole, you're done. Right? It's very hard to get out. Go ahead.
So when you, as an admin, you get the notifications that say, this post is doing better than 65% of your other posts over the last month. Do you want to spend $5 to boost it? Who is it boosting to? Like, what am I doing for $5?
Right, that is a really great question. So Facebook ads are a section that I can actually, how much time do we have? We can jump to it here in a second, but here, just a really quick note on that to give you something to think about. Facebook ads are no different than what you're posting in terms of your content. Be very thoughtful about your ads. Boosting, I think, is a waste of money.
No man's land.
Boosting is a waste of money. Literally, you would be better sitting on the floor and lighting your $5 bills on fire. Because here's why. What you've got is a quick fix on the side. You can go in and you can use an audience and you can do this and you can do that and boost that post, right? And you may see a nice little kickback from it. But A, that ad is not gonna matter if you haven't been thoughtful about your organic content anyway. And B, you can Facebook has created a way, and this is one thing that they've actually done really well and finally kind of gotten to a place that's semi-easy to use, to be thoughtful about your ad campaigns. You know, if you want to do advertisement and that post is doing really well, instead of boosting it, I'd take that image and create an ad campaign around it. And then be really thoughtful about how you build out that content anyway. If it's doing really well for your audience and you want more of that, I would take what's performing well and create a whole ad campaign around it and be really thoughtful about then what are you driving people to? What is the action that you want people to take? Those kinds of things. But again, if you're not thoughtful about the content that you're posting every single day, then what are you advertising? I mean, you can drive people to your website, and that's great, but you're using Facebook. So you want a presence on Facebook, what are you driving people to? Again, it's like having a website that has no content on it. It's just an about page or whatever. These are content platforms. So you have to have good content strategy in place to know what you want people to engage with, right? So I said purpose, time, ability, and outcome is a huge player when it comes to Facebook. simply because there's so much you can do on the platform. But if you are willing to take the time, if you're willing to figure out your purpose, and if you're willing to do things to grow your ability, and you have sustainable, identifiable outcomes, then you'll start to figure out how to use Facebook successfully. But it does take time. It really does take time. It's not a magic bullet, and it's not going to make your business super successful overnight. Even if you went viral, which, I mean, you can't make something go viral. I mean, there are certain things that you can do to make something really, I guess, popular, but I have clients tell me all the time, well, we want this post to go viral. I'm like, oh, do you? Great, that's great. Like the flu? I mean, like, what do you want me to do? And again, that spike is not sustainable, right? And that's what people fail to realize often. They see internet stars, they see all sorts of things. Do we know how much time they have pounded the pavement on these different social media platforms to get to the point where then finally one piece of content shoots them to the stratosphere, right? And that's what I'm saying. Influence is it's in flux. This YouTuber or this influencer on Facebook may have 80 gajillion fans, but guess what? You probably have as much influence as they do with your people. And that's what's important. That's what's important. Maximizing your influence, your brand with your people. This isn't about getting 85 gajillion likes on Facebook. This is saying, hey, I've got 300 people and we're engaging and we're having conversation and they love me and I love them and we're creating a relationship, which is what any good business needs. There's your influence. There's, and then if you post something and you're sharing about another business or you're sharing about, hey, we're getting ready to change something, what do you guys think about it? You've got viable feedback from your target audience. Embrace that and cultivate that. Cultivate that and make that grow. Because if you're engaging with them and you're present with them there, they're going to be engaging and present with you. And they're going to share with their friends. They're going to talk about it with their own sphere of influence. And that's what's really important, right? So really quickly, I'm going to pop back over. Like I said, photos are also really important. Text, what I was saying about a client who's a blogger, there are some people who are saying only post short snippets on Facebook. I will take huge chunks of her blogs, because one thing Facebook also values is keeping people on the platform. And I send out a lot of external links to her blog, but at least once or twice a week, I will take a huge chunk of content with a really compelling image, and I'll plop it on Facebook. Those are the posts that get the most engagement outside of her videos. She mainly speaks to women between the ages of 35 and 55 who have kids in the home from 7 to 21. And that's how they engage with her. And I've tested it. I tested it again and again and again. I had another client who had a podcast that released every Monday. I posted that podcast at 6:17 Mountain Time. I tested it. I tried it at 6 o'clock in the morning. I tried it at 7 o'clock in the morning. I tried it at 6:35, and it never got as much engagement as when I put at 6:17 in the morning. And then I remembered, most of the audience that listens to that podcast is in the Midwest. That's 7:17 in the morning. Most people are waking up, getting ready to go to work. East Coast, maybe they were listening to it on their commute, but I tested it over 2 months, 6:17 in the morning. So that's what I'm saying, just test and learn the rhythms of your audience, learn the rhythms of when they're looking for your content, and you'll figure it out. You will figure it out. So that, just like I said, just write it down. Your content should always have at least 2 purposes. Don't ever just create one piece of content. Take the pressure off yourself by looking at anything you create as having multiple purposes. Like I said, your videos, there are apps that you can break that down into 2-minute segments. If you end up wanting to post to Instagram, there are several apps that can cut that down into 15-second snippets for stories. That kind of thing. Again, quotes or resources that you reference in those videos, you can take that and then post about it again. But just always look for multiple purposes in one piece of content. You can make a blog post into a video, into a meme, into a Facebook Live video or an Insta story or a Facebook story. make your content work for you. So we've kind of threaded through some of this in here, just being thoughtful about your content. Create a content calendar. Again, having a plan is going to make your life so much easier. Sitting down and creating space and time for you to create things to share is just going to make it so much easier. Look at the calendar. See where we are. We just did back to school, right? We're heading into Halloween, election season, midterm elections, Christmas, Thanksgiving. Where does your business fit into that? What are things there where people are already naturally searching and having conversations? Where do you have content that fits into that? Are you in a typical or some kind of industry? You know, are you a roofer or in construction or whatever? Are there natural cycles happening there where people connect with your industry, or you need to connect in your industry? And be thoughtful about that and the type of content that you post. And again, figure out a system that works for you. Maybe it's reminders on your calendar. Maybe it's an Excel spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet, but just some place where you can create some sort of calendar and types of posts that you want to create that help you get ahead of the game. So that way every Monday you're not sitting down like, oh crap, I got posts on Facebook, right? Give yourself, in the time that you're allotting to post on Facebook, give yourself space. Planning and routine, as somebody who has not traditionally really liked those things, I have found that planning and routine give me the most space to be creative. And so I really encourage you with that. Create a content calendar. You know, look at the month, look at what's coming up and figuring out how you integrate, because guess what? Your customers are already searching for these things. We're creatures of habit, right? It's August, it's starting to go back to school. I'm a mom, I'm trying to figure out how to get my kids back into routine after summer, because all they've done is laid on their bed and play Fortnite all summer, right? I mean, things like that, depending on what you do. Do you have a product or service that helps people ease back into the structure of fall? You know, teachers, hi, you know, maybe it's like my kid's a little crazy, we love him, but maybe he can't pay attention, so here's a gift just to start the year off, right? Please help me with my child. And I use back to school because that's just a natural cycle, whatever it is, right? So just be thoughtful about that. And again, we talked about examining the data, looking at reach, which is not necessarily the whole entire, like how many people your post actually got in front of. That is important. But again, what Facebook is looking at, it was served to this many people, but this many people did something with it. That's what's important. And that's the number you consistently want to get up is engagement. Like I said, shares, clicks, comments, reactions, and that's in a loose order. Posts, again, what type of posts are you sharing? And what's resonating with your audience? How they perform and when your fans are online. And Facebook provides this kind of data. And again, organically, this is really important for when you go into ads. Because you can do so much with ads. You can create ads that get served to fans of your page, friends of fans of your page. You can create, if you are really into a lot of data with your website, you can create lookalike audiences from your website to Facebook. There's just a lot to look at, but it is also looking at the type of content that people are already organically performing well. Like you said, this post is performing so well, X amount % above every other kind of post. Okay, we want to replicate that. We want to replicate that kind of post. And then again, people. To the question earlier, you can segment your posts out organically based on age, based on gender, based on location. And again, it can be really helpful. That data is really helpful when it comes to creating Facebook ads. And if you have a type of service or product or business that reaches a lot of people, maybe not necessarily locally, those kinds of things can be really important. The data, the location, if you meet a certain criteria with men between the ages of 25 and 35 who are looking to get in shape, you can segment your post down if you've got something specific that you really want to share with them. And then, like I said, video, you can look at the engagement, you can dig into the data of how they performed, minutes viewed, and then you can start to map out those kinds of trends. Facebook breaks down that data for you. And then again, just create a plan, write it down. Data is the story that your audience tells you about you. Be humble enough to read it, because like I said, somebody somewhere is going to tell you that your internet baby is ugly, And that's okay. That is okay. I used to spend, I would spend tons of time creating what I thought were these beautiful memes, and then I'd post it and it wouldn't do great. Something that I threw together in 5 minutes, if I was doing it on the fly, it'd go up there and all of a sudden it's like, it's been shared 75 gajillion times and 800 million people liked it. I'm like, what? It's hideous. But data, that's why data is important. The established trends, you see how people are engaging, and that is the most important thing. And then you can adjust your content. And then be present. We talked about this. Pick a time, day in that 2 to 4 hours that you, at minimum, you've given yourself to work on Facebook. Pick times of day that you can go on, be present, respond to messages, respond to questions. Use that time to also search out other Facebook pages, small businesses in your community. What are people doing in your industry? What do you like? What do you don't like? What can you replicate? What do you want to stay away from? Use that time to stay on top of what you're doing. And again, in the beginning, it's time intensive. It takes a lot of effort. But once you get into the rhythm, you'll find yourself easing into like, okay, no, I can actually do this. I really can do this. And you can. That's what I want to encourage you with it. I know you're a small business. Your time is valuable. Your time is money. But if you're looking at social media, you're looking at Facebook as a way to really try to reach new customers or invest in people who are already connected, it is worth the time. And it's worth the time to you as a business owner to expand your skills, to try new things, to fail and get back up. All of those things are important to business. So it's not just social media. I mean, you will learn new skills and new things that you can take into whatever you decide to do with your business. Because this is the direction that the world is going. This is where media already is. And so enter into that. Really fight the fear and be willing to push in and do it.
Could you touch on donations? We're a nonprofit in Salida, and we rely solely on donations and
Absolutely.
grants. So can you talk about how we would implement that?
Sure. So the button on Facebook, on your Facebook page, one of the options there is donate.
Okay.
So that is something that you can do right off the bat, right? And again, with nonprofits, nonprofit is always about the story, right? I mean, just the heart of what makes your organization's heartbeat. And really touching on that, so that emotional appeal, and I would really look at, I would do research of other nonprofits on Facebook. How are they telling stories? Look at how often they actually do a hard ask, because for a lot of them, it's not very often, you know? And then also look at how you can engage people who are already donating to you on Facebook, because people who are really passionate about your organization, they have the opportunity to do fundraisers on their own personal page. So that's an option for you as well, using Facebook holistically. You can also do fundraisers on your own page. So that's something we can talk offline and really dig into that, but there are some options for you for sure. So we've already looked through some of the Facebook pages. I have a couple more that I'd like to show you, but we're running out of time. But personality, again, find your voice. Whatever the personality of your business is, man, just go into that full throttle. Make it fun, make it personal, make it engaging, make it emotional. Don't shy away from those things. Whatever makes your business unique, tap into that. Proofreading, I'm just gonna say there's nothing better than a well-written piece, complete with spelling and grammar checks. This is not bingo. I mean, unless your audience is Gen Z, then go for it, right? But chances are high, I mean, just you're engaging with adults, maybe, but proofreading is important. Having been bitten by the I'm the best editor once something has gone live bug, also have somebody else read it, right? Like, I am the world's best editor once something's been up for like 5 minutes on Facebook. It's awesome.
I mean, just correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
But social media in the last 2 years or so has went away from the whole hard sell. Like, do not sell them. They're completely rejected. So you have to, like you said, it's all about the engagement.
Right.
I know a lot of us have items and products, and that's what that's our reason for being there. So we feel like we need to post this
Right.
and put this dollar amount.
Right.
And that's, as I've had the experience, because I did the promote button, and I learned the whole thing about engagement groups. And I took the time to learn.
Yeah.
The sell, every time it was a hard sell or just a dollar figure attached or something, it got rejected.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. absolutely. And again, I mean, it sounds so emotional, but we connect on things based on how something makes us feel, right? Whether we want to admit it or not. And I'm not just talking about oopy goopy feelings. I want this to work. I want this to be a solid product. I'm investing a lot of money into that's still a feeling. Quality is still a feeling, right? Even if, you know, logically, you know, analytical, I want something of quality. If I'm going to shell out my hard-earned money, I want it to be at this piece of excellence. That's still a feeling that your customer has. So it's engaging those kinds of feelings. It's not just the hard ask of like, here's this sweatshirt, it's $10. Why aren't people buying it? No, how do you feel in that sweatshirt? What does it make you feel like? Is it warm and fuzzy on the inside like a teddy bear? Does it make you want to curl up next to a fire and drink cocoa and just ignore the world with a good book? Right? Does it make you look so just like awesome on the street and it's just as, you know, it's pithy and it's funny? How is that supposed to make you feel? And it's tapping into those things, right? It's tapping into the emotion and the quality aspect of your product and marrying those two things together rather than my shirt is awesome, please buy it. Right?
So you can't say, like, if I did a cooking demo, I can't say at the end, and I have a cookbook for, you know, $25.95.
Maybe at that point your cooking is so awesome that people want to buy it. What I would do is rather than doing a hard sell at the end of everything, after you're done, just kind of see how people respond. But you can also comment and just casually drop a link in that says, here's a link to the cookbook I mentioned at the end of it, right?
Or you can find this recipe in Visionary Kitchen.
Right, those kinds of things. Or you can even say, hey, I'm giving this recipe away for free on my on my website. Link to the recipe, and then at the bottom of that blog post, right, there's your cookbook for sale.
And so Facebook is okay with that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's that hard sell. If all you're doing, which you're providing value anyway by getting on Facebook Live and showcasing a recipe, right? That's engaging. People love that. I would watch that. I love MasterChef. I just finished Zumbo's Just Desserts on Netflix. I love Sugar Rush, so I'm looking at signing up for cooking classes in the springs because I'm trying to engage myself creatively outside of my job. So I'm like, I would watch the crap out of that, you know, and then be like, where do I buy that recipe book? But just thinking thoughtfully, you know, what can you give away for free? Right? That's a value to your audience and a value to you, but it's that value proposition that then the next time you really want them to buy something, you've created the permission to ask them, right? Provide good content and you earn the right to sell your product. You got to start with the good content. You got to start with the emotional engagement. And then you have the right to start to ask people, hey, or it's so good that people will start to ask you, and that's the ideal place to be. So really quickly, Facebook ads, because I have 4 minutes. Facebook ads are really woolly, mammoth. Number one thing, again, we've talked about audience. Don't pay for likes. Don't do it. Number one, you're probably not going to get people who you want anyway. And then Facebook's going to do what they do. And they're going to go through and they're going to clean out pages with fake accounts, and all of a sudden you're going to be like, why is my page at 0? Well, because you paid for all those likes. They weren't real people. So don't pay for likes. Test ads with audience tools. And again, I have links. Do your research with Facebook ads. They've created an academy that you can go through to learn how to really dig into their tool and do it well. Again, you can promote to fans of your page, fans and friends of fans. You can create new audiences. You have tons of opportunity there. And then you can determine your budget. It can be a daily budget, it can be a weekly budget, it can be a monthly budget, depending on what you're doing. And like I said, I have a link up there. This buffer article is fabulous. It breaks down buffer. One thing I really, so here's a good for instance. I don't actually use Buffer as a service. I did for a while, and then I just moved away from it. I didn't want to use it anymore. But what I love about Buffer is they provide incredible value to you whether you use their service or not. Their blog is lights out. It is lights out. And they absolutely are so transparent about what they're trying on Facebook, what they're trying on Twitter, and they blog about the results. Hugely helpful. And so I would highly recommend that you read this article because they talk about one block of content in an ad, one picture versus telling a story. So let's say I want to run an ad campaign for 6 weeks. I'm not running the same ad for all 6 weeks, I'm creating a story. So my ad is set up to hit women ages 25 to 35 who are interested in athleisure. So I start out with, baseline, like, here's our new line, here, and some sort of story behind it. Maybe you're new to working out, and you haven't been in the gym in 5 years, and you don't want to go looking all raggedy because you haven't been to the gym. Try our new leggings for $25 or whatever it is, whatever the headline is. And then the next one is an intermediate kind of page. Hey, maybe you've been engaged with our brand for a long time, or even just a short time. Here's some sort of story about why our athleisure makes you feel so good. Like, it just, and tell the story versus just running one ad. And you'll learn how to test creative. You'll learn how to test messages. You'll learn how to test all of those kinds of things to make sure that your stuff really, really resonates with your audience and you're getting the best bang for your buck. I mean, you can, again, getting into the Facebook ad campaign school, essentially, they teach you how to A/B test. They teach you how to, they let you, if you're running multiple ads and one ad is underperforming, you can stop it. And Facebook will let you know, hey, this ad's performing amazing, this one's trash. We don't want to see you waste your money, so trash this ad. It's hugely helpful. But just digging into some of the nitty gritty. But again, ads don't really matter if you don't have something to drive people back to. So, and because you may get people, new followers, new engagement out of that, but if you don't have something to draw them back to consistently engage them and keep them loyal customers, then you're wasting your money, right? Because that's what ultimately what you want to see out of organic Facebook posts, out of Facebook ads, is you want to build a loyal customer base. You want people to come back to you time and time again. Build relationship, build loyalty, build trust with your relationship so that when someone is looking for a service that you provide, you're the first name on somebody's lips and not your competition, right? It is 3:30. So, does anybody have any questions? Yes.
Real quick, how do you engage and get more likes from strangers? Not from sending friends that are on your personal Facebook to like your business page, but actually like how you get.
So it's implementing the strategies that we've talked about. Facebook Live, so let's take Facebook Live. When you go live, you are added to a map of people in the world who are going live. And Facebook builds an audience to draw people in, right? Being consistent, not spamming other pages, but going on to other pages and looking at their content, even commenting, but again, not in a spammy way that says like, hey, come, but just engaging, right? Talking to another business where you guys maybe have a little bit of crossover, but you provide unique services. Maybe saying, hey, together, we're gonna do a contest, or hey, we're gonna share each other's content to each other's pages, not as like I posted this and then share, but creating unique content and doing some sort of promotion that way. It's just, again, being thoughtful, posting good content. It is sometimes asking friends to just share it to their own pages rather than incoming like this page, hey, I just posted this, would you be willing to share it with some of your friends? Utilizing some of those tactics in the beginning, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you find that you're really heavily relying on that, I would build a good base of organic content, and then I'd start looking at where's a good place for us to start running some ads, and maybe finding some people who are in the ideal audience that I want, but maybe haven't found our page. Does that make sense? Yeah, cool.
Do you recommend it? So like one of the things that I was thinking about is Melan comes out with a great faucet. That's really neat. Everyone should probably have it because I have it and I love it. And say Melan does a post on their page that I think is great. So should you kind of what you said is don't share it.
I would just be
Make your
really
own post.
right. I would just be really careful with it because Facebook again will penalize you.
Okay.
I had a page kill itself. They wouldn't listen, and all they did was share. All they did was share posts from somebody else's page. So why should Facebook honor you for sharing it when it's the original piece of content that's engaging? Right? That's why creating your own content, getting a feel for what's really engaging to your audience is so important. Sharing every once in a while, I don't think is that bad. But again, Facebook's looking at your page. They're looking at what you're organically posting up there. And if they're seeing a recurring pattern of sharing stuff over there, then they're going to downgrade your organic reach, and they're going to up whatever original piece of content is creating the engagement. So you could even, like, if you like it, take the picture, give Melan the credit, you know, tag them in it, but just say, here, and here's why I love it.
On the live thing, we've got personal, business, fan pages, stuff. Can you go live as whichever entity you want to be, or is it personal?
Yeah.
How do you get to where, like, our business, where I'm going live as that business as opposed to as myself?
So one tip is that Facebook has a separate app called Facebook Pages. And I would highly recommend you download it because it separates personal and business. And then you have, if you manage multiple pages, they're going to be listed in that app. And then you can go in there, and just where you go to create your post, you tap in there, and again, there's that option in there to hit live. So I would, and it helps it keeps it separate. I wouldn't try and access the page through the Facebook app
Is that only a
itself.
mobile thing? Because I
Yeah.
try to avoid doing stuff on my phone whenever I can.
Yeah, it is mobile. You can do
The
desktop.
Pages thing is a mobile?
Yeah.
But you can still go live from your business on your desktop.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Yes,
I'm
you
not
can.
going live from the laptop, but as far as posting and things, I like to be able to read stuff, and it's
Yeah.
not easier on the laptop
Yeah.
than the phone.
And you can. On your desktop, it's the same thing. So you can just click the page where you're an admin, go to that business page where you go to create the post. You can do it on desktop. But if you're somewhere mobile,
Yeah, we can go live from a laptop as far as, but managing the pages, that's strictly
Yep.
a mobile app.
No, you can manage your page from Facebook as well. Yeah, on the desktop. They did also create Business Manager, which can be a little bit of a pain to use, but you can manage in Facebook.com on your desktop. On the side, on the left-hand side, they've got a list of pages that you admin, and you can manage them from there. Yep, for sure. Okay, 5 minutes over. Break. I know everybody probably has to go to the bathroom and all of that. I'll be over here if you have questions. And like I said, please reach out when you're done. All right? Thank you guys so much.
All right, let's take a 10-minute break. Feel free to talk to Carrie and grab her business card if you're interested as well. And we'll start here in 10 minutes with LinkedIn.
Then you got really excited.
Yeah, well, so one thing about so it's very similar to the credit. I'm just gonna have your. No, I'm just gonna go on. Oh, you know, you just straight one, so it's not
How you doing, man? Is it busy all summer?
No.
Busy all summer?
Busy relaxing. Busy
transition.
How about you?
I would say happily.
What's your mount? Check it out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But it's not gonna work because my phone was in. I got a ring, like a license.
Oh.
So it's got the
See,
portal.
when we don't have this, we're still up, by the way. But when we don't have the iPad,
Oh, you
I
didn't
just
pause it?
no, because we put it on our website,
Yeah.
so they know we're on a break. But I put my phone here, and I rubber band it and use my phone. But if you have a light ring, I don't know. But I looked it up on Facebook or on Amazon.
She's enjoying it.
Yeah, see, we're still going live. See?
And what is this thing?
This is just a stand that I have.
Different rules with
Does it work
LinkedIn.
for cell phones too?
Well,
Or is it too big?
it's a little too big, but I use my cell phone and I just rubber band it, and it works really well. It just makes it easier to keep it sturdy and steady. And if you want to move it around, you just put tape over the grippies, and so now I can follow the person. And it's gonna be a very interesting break. But yeah, it saved my life because we tried it when it was in. Well, we tried it in this, and I was sitting up here and I was basically looking up their noses. And then we're like, okay, well, let's move back a little further. And then this thing keeps it up a little higher. And you're not feeling like you're looking up somebody's nose.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, too.
But it's really, really handy.
So is this gonna be online?
Yeah, it'll be on our Facebook, and then we also post it on our website. And with the website, it'll also have all the handouts and everything.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Like if there's a coworker that wants to look at it too, or somebody else, you know, they can look at it. I want to try this editing software that she was talking about.
I know.
I was just like that before, when I
invited somebody recently. I have to go in and do it. And he was like, yeah, I can go. And I was like, and then it was kind of
So on your desktop,
Yeah, it can be a little weird. Yeah, I know it's hard if you don't put a lot of information out there, but I'm not sure that
okay. Let me see. Let me see your card real quick. I'll make sure that.
the only time we did was on our drive. Oh, we're safe here, or oh, we're safe here to everybody. So we're like, we'll just do a little video.
So you just learning. It just takes a long time. So you can find which one to.
yeah, sure.
Next question. Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's either be tall or be really close.
I know, everyone always says that. What's new?
Oh, yeah, because that stuff is how many do they have in practice? Somebody gonna take over.
So you're looking for admin work? I'm having to fly out and take content in Illinois. October 4th. She said she didn't pay August. She didn't tell me. She didn't call nothing. I was like, hey, I didn't have your rent. What date did you mail it out? She said it's fine. So then the next day I had some tape 5 days on the door. She responded right away. She was like, I sent you a letter. I have a document.
so right? So she was like, as soon as I give you this little check, I'll pay you at the end of September. And then I'll pay you for August, September, October, November. And if all goes well, then December. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I'm actually like, I can't carry you. I have a plan. So now, by the time I get her out, it is a plan. I have what the letters say. So then I go to list my house for sale beginning of November. You know, like, I'm just gonna be moving. It's good seeing you. Did you get shoe polish?
All right. We can bring it in. We're going to get started on our second half.
Okay. I see a lot.
In the second half, we're going to be talking about LinkedIn for your small business. So we have a new presenter today. Hope you guys got some snacks. Make sure you grab some snacks so we don't lose you, because 3 hours is a long time, I know. But we have a brand new topic, and we're excited to talk about LinkedIn. So today we have Jacqueline Stables, and Jacqueline has been a consultant starting actually this year with the Pikes Small Business Development Center. She's also one of the top 10 in the nation representatives for Mutual of Omaha Advisors, and so she's just got a wealth of knowledge and information. She's one of our few that actually is like a financial guru and a marketing guru, which is uncommon. So she's a great resource, and so feel free to grab her card afterwards, but also she does do consultations through the SBDC, and you can schedule through the paperwork on the back there. So without further ado, I want to make sure we got enough time as possible for Jacqueline, so please give her a warm welcome.
Thank you. So yeah, they call me the financial unicorn because most financial advisors only know money, and I know marketing too, so I'm really good at helping small business owners generate business to then do what? Invest with me, right? Kind of makes sense. So my background is really in marketing. I've had 12 years of corporate marketing experience across the country and internationally. The reason why I'm doing the LinkedIn course is because I've been really successful over the last 9 years through LinkedIn. LinkedIn's only been around, I don't even know, maybe 11? Maybe 11? So before anyone was using LinkedIn, I made $1.6 million in 6 months for a $500 million corporation. That's sexy, isn't it? So that's why I'm doing LinkedIn. There's different things I've done for other businesses, but I don't want to waste time doing that. I just want you to understand where my background is so that you know that you can utilize all of the tips and tricks and tools I'm giving you to actually find ways to increase revenue. Make sense? Does everyone have this piece of paper? This is what we're kind of going to follow. It helps me stay on track because I'm really good at squirreling. really good at it. How many people, show of hands, how many people already have a LinkedIn? Good. How many people feel like they know what they're doing on LinkedIn? Okay. So let's go over some of just the basics and see if you have those covered. And then I'm also going to show you a really bad one. Mine, unfortunately, so being in the financial industry, I'm federally licensed, and so I'm highly regulated when it comes to the internet. So mine isn't as sexy as I want it to be. They made me remove a lot of things that I had on it, unfortunately. But just going over basics, for instance, my picture. My picture is extremely professional picture. I've seen other pictures where people have pictures with their dogs. That's for Facebook, not LinkedIn. So it's very important to have that professional picture. I have some people who are maybe in the service industry, and they have a picture sitting at their desk. Okay, that's not bad. I would rather have you, if you're service, I would rather have you by your truck. Like, that's a professional picture because you utilize your truck most times to advertise, so that would be good to have. But having something similar to mine would be the most ideal because this is a professional platform, unlike Facebook. That's just like she was saying, it's more personal. And then you'll see how I have, so professionally, my name is Jacqueline Stables. I go by Jackie Stables, but I spell it Jacquie. So if people don't know me and they see that spelling, they call me Jacquie. I don't think I really look like a Jacquie, but anyways. So professionally, I go by Jacqueline Stables. I can often tell who knows me and who doesn't if they call me Jacqueline. So you want to have your professional name on there. I'm newly married, so I kept my last name, my maiden last name, because for people to find me purposes, I want them to still be able to find me. So that's still why I have Williams there. And then of course you want your title and then the business name. You'll also see that I have Colorado Springs Business Journal Rising Star. That was an award that I won, and so, you know, this is kind of like a brag moment for me. I want people to understand that I'm different than everyone else as a registered representative for Mutual of Omaha. And then of course your location, in contact us, I want to see. Okay, so people kind of go back and forth on whether they should put their information out there. I want people to contact me. I'm here to have people contact me. So I'm going to fill out every single thing known to man. And even my birthday, not the year, but my birthday's on there because I want people to tell me happy birthday if they are looking at my profile and my information. So just make sure that you're fully filling out everything completely. LinkedIn really likes that. They'll be able to tell if you are a real user of LinkedIn or if you just exist on LinkedIn. There's a big difference there. Let me just make sure I'm covering everything. Okay, going back to the picture, one thing that I missed is I'll see a lot of people, I personally use LinkedIn, so I go and I search for someone I specifically want to meet in like the niche, the business niche, and I find them and I reach out and I message them and I say, hey, can we grab coffee, have a one-on-one? I'm interested in learning more about you. They say yes, we go for a coffee, and I can't find them in the coffee shop because their picture's from 5 years ago, right? So just make sure that you're keeping it current, because a lot of people have professional pictures because it looked really good and they don't want to do another one because they gained weight, lost weight, they don't like their hair color, whatever the case may be. But keeping it current is most important because it just is adding to the authenticity of who you are. Let's go down to the summary. I see a lot of different things within this summary. Mine is very vague. I can't go into too much detail, unfortunately, because of my personal industry, but I don't assume that any of you have federal regulations like I do. No? Okay, so really what's important here is that you have 2 to 3 sentences of your education and your skill set so that people understand who you are, where you're coming from. Just like I stood up here and I gave you a really short 2-3 sentences on why I'm good at LinkedIn. It's the same thing with being on LinkedIn and writing your summary. Also, people want to know what you're passionate about. They don't want you selling your product on LinkedIn, per se, especially in the summary, or why they should work with you. But when someone sees what you're passionate, so for me, it says, literally, sales and marketing is my passion. Well, that's literally what I do in the financial world, but I just work with money. I don't have that in there, but that's who I am. I'm passionate about sales and marketing. So when people know that, they know that they can trust that you're gonna have their best interest, because people do what they're passionate about, right? They don't just talk about it, they do it. Okay, that's it on the summary. Okay, now going down to jobs. I'm gonna skip the Mutual of Omaha one because they don't let me put anything in there but disclosures. Okay, so for instance, this is really long. I was the international marketing specialist for a nonprofit here in the Springs, and there was a lot of things that I did. And so why would I need this on my LinkedIn profile if now I'm in the financial industry? Well, I work with a lot of small business owners. So it allows people to come and like do their due diligence. Everybody likes to Google info and get their research. This is how they research you, is through your LinkedIn. This is essentially your digital resume for people to hire you. Like, cause you can tell them that you're really good at what you do. You can show them your Google reviews. You can show them your Facebook likes and how many people like your page. But this, you can get into detail on why they should work with you. And the why, as most of you I hope would know, is the most important when you're a small business owner. It's why someone should work with you. So I wanna just highlight one that's super random that I kept on here from a long time ago when I was in college. I was a manager at Pizza Hut. Who cares? I love pizza. But the important thing here is I didn't list every single thing that I did with Pizza Hut, but what's important here is that I managed a staff of 32 employees. That's value. That means I dealt with a lot of different things. And so when I'm with a small business owner who maybe has only 5 employees, they know that I understand what they're going through because I dealt with 32 employees instead of just 5. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. So I think, this is covered pretty well. Just, filling it out and having it, don't leave anything out. Everything that you've done has created you on what you're doing today, some way, shape, or form. So if it's something like Pizza Hut that has nothing to do with marketing or financial, what from that job gave you the skill or value to do what you're doing today? And then just use that and add that in there. Because if there's gaps and holes, then people are gonna question. Then they have time to create stories, and then there's holes in your authenticity, okay? I think that's about it for those. Let me show you, So when I was putting this presentation together, my assistant created that paper. And so she said, you should show them a bad one. And I said, oh yeah, that's a great idea. I have no idea who I'd pick. She said, look at mine and see if it's bad. It was. So this is Carissa. She is my assistant. She also is a small business owner, she was my client first, and then I hired her. She's a professional organizer. So she works with people personally to organize people, but she also wants to organize people's businesses. So I hired her to teach her how to organize my business so she could then get more business and do what? Invest more money. It's really great how it works. So anyways, so for hers, she has her professional picture that was professionally taken. And then she has everything listed here. Her contact info is fine. But her summary, she's really cute. Like, she's just genuinely a sweet girl. And so her summary says, I remember reorganizing my grandma's pantry at 6 years old. I stopped right there. And I was like, Carissa, nobody cares. Like, that's not what we're here for on LinkedIn. And then remember I said you're supposed to say your passion. So then she says, and from there, my passion never stopped. Okay, but it's a better way to word it. Be more direct about your passion, not some like 12-year-old story about it. All my life, I've been so passionate about keeping my home, work, and life as tidy as possible. Again, cute, but you already stated that it's passionate, so now you're being redundant and wasting people's time, and we all know we have no time, right? And then, she goes, I believe our lives as a product. She doesn't ask anywhere in here. She doesn't say what she's looking for in connections. you know, she just kind of poured out about herself, and we've actually been working on her presentation on this, and it's clear on here, she literally took that from what she tries to tell people. So, this is just to show, don't go tell a story on your summary. Make it very concise and direct on what your skills are, why you're good at it, not because you were doing it when you were 6 at grandma's. You know, she has certifications and stuff. She hasn't listed any of those. And then going down to her jobs, this is cute. So then she has that she's an assistant for me, right? And then she goes to tell the story. I met Jackie through a mutual friend on Facebook. Who cares? We're on LinkedIn. It's supposed to be professional. And she's talking like it's personal, like it's Facebook, because she's a lot better on Facebook than she is on LinkedIn. And she's worked in the corporate world a few times, but it's been brief stints, so she doesn't really understand the professionalism of LinkedIn. So just knowing that it's high professionalism on LinkedIn is what people are looking for when they're researching it. So she doesn't say what she does. She says why she works for me, but she doesn't explain what she actually does or her skills or responsibilities. Again, she copied, so Grace to Organize, that's her organizing business. She copied what was in her summary and put that in the Grace to Organize. Filled in the blank, but it's of no value. No one is contacting her through LinkedIn. She gets contacts, I manage her Facebook page, but she gets contacts probably 10 times a day on Facebook for people to organize. She gets nothing from LinkedIn. Why? Because she's not professional on LinkedIn. She's not marketing well on LinkedIn. She was also the office manager at Painting with a Twist for 5 years. It's not even listed on here. That's a big deal, to be an office manager for 5 years and be working with a bunch of artists. Do you know how it is to wrangle artists in? That's a task. And so when I told her that, I'm like, you should have that on there and be explaining every single thing that you did, because it adds value for people to hire you, because you have a good understanding on what it's like to organize a business already. So she didn't have any of that. Education, you definitely want to have listed on there, and she has that. So that's basically like all the things not to do on a LinkedIn. All right, connections. So let's go back to mine. Okay. So you always want to have 500 plus, always. Because if you have 501, it's not going to say 501. It's going to say 500 and plus, 500 plus. If you have 499, it's going to say 499. So when you have 500 plus, then again in the LinkedIn world, you are utilizing LinkedIn the way that it should be, okay? So when we talk about those connections, who should you connect with? Well, you know, as a small business owner, how much do we love our competitors? Probably not that much. Are you guys friends with your competitors? Some. So I would definitely connect with all of your competitors, even the ones that you may not be friends with or know personally or anything, because I don't know how to say this tactfully, but I don't care about them. You're getting closer to all the people that they're connected to, right? So if your competition, then it's their people that they're going after, their prospects or their clients. Either way, you're able to get to people you haven't been able to get to before that's in your warm market. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So then the next set is people that you went to school with, that you trained with, or that you worked with. So people that know you. And not necessarily people that you know, but people that have known you. And the reason why you would want to do that, even if they're not in this area, I don't know if you guys are nationwide or local or whatever, it really doesn't matter. Nationally, I want anyone that knows you to be on your LinkedIn. Why?
Credibility.
Because I want you to ask them for a recommendation on your credibility. Because that's important, right? Because testimonials, as we know as small business owners, is everything. So it doesn't cost to get any testimonials on LinkedIn. And it doesn't have to be necessarily about your business, because if it's somebody that you knew from like way back in the day, they know who you are as a person, and that's really what this is about, is your character traits. So it doesn't have to be about your business. Yes, you would want to have people, you would want to ask for recommendations about your business, but just about you in general, so that people can speak to that, so it's just not one-sided and it's not just about you. Same thing with family and friends. Most of the time, family, let's speak about family. So like how I just got married. So if I add everyone in my family, they're not gonna have the same last name as me. So if I go and ask them for a recommendation, I have all these recommendations from people that are my family, but other people who don't know me aren't gonna know that they're my family. So we can just increase the credibility from people that are our family. And then of course friends, they should have no problem doing that. You can be direct and say, hey, I need this recommendation on X, Y, and Z, and they can write it for you because it takes like 30 seconds to do it. All right, who's connecting with you? So, have any of you taken like the cybersecurity classes through the SBDC? No? I highly recommend you do that. It's very, very important, especially in this day and age. Good plug, did you hear that? Okay. But anyways, so, okay, on the cybersecurity level, it's very important on who you choose to connect with when you're on the internet, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn, because there's hackers all around the world. You know, if you watch news at all, read anything, you know, Russia's hacking Facebook like crazy, right? And so I have no idea who's all hacking LinkedIn, but I know people are hacking LinkedIn. So I have to be cautious on who I'm letting into my LinkedIn world, because I don't know what they can get access to, because I'm not techie. So if you're not techie, then be cautious and be prepared, because the things that I learned from cybersecurity is like everyone is trying to hack everyone all around the world, and you know, you're not immune to it at any time, unless you have all of your firewalls and know exactly what you're doing, and 95% of us probably don't know what we're doing. So with that being said, who do you connect with? People that are trying to sell you something. So for instance, just the other day, I had some local recruiter that wanted to connect with me. I'm never leaving. I own my own business. I'm so married to Mutual of Omaha for life. There's no way that I would ever leave. But I connected with her because I was curious why she wanted to connect with me. So then of course she reached out and sent a message, thanks for connecting with me. I'm actually looking to hire a financial assistant for this investment firm. You know, do you have your securities license? I said, yes, I'll never leave Mutual of Omaha. She said, oh, okay. And I said, I'm actually hiring a financial assistant. And she says, oh, I actually have someone for you. So I didn't know when I connected with her that she was actually going to find me a new employee that I had no idea how I was going to find. So you never know what could come out of a connection. So you need to cherry pick, but have a wider scope, a wider understanding. I used to work in the promotional products industry. That's why I like swag so much. But there's a lot of people from the promotional products industry that like I come up on their people that you should know. Is that what it's called? People, whatever. I don't know, it's called something. People you should connect with or whatever. And so I get added, and I'm not in the promotional products industry. So I don't add them to my LinkedIn because they are going to be of absolutely no value to me whatsoever, because I choose to work locally and I work in Illinois. But there's just no purpose for me to do that. So if they serve absolutely no purpose, don't connect with them. But if you see how maybe they can connect, if they're local and you're a local business, then you might want to connect with them, because most people know, what, 200, 250 people? So then you're connected closer to another 200, 250 people. And if they're good on LinkedIn, it should be over 500. There's another one. And then the hackers. So literally, you'll see people that try to connect with you that have no location, no information. Like, do your due diligence to see if they're going to bring you any type of value. If they're not, don't connect with them. So do whatever you can. First goal is do whatever you can to have at least 500 connections, and just start thinking and brainstorming and reaching outside of the box to get those connections. That's going to be like your first thing to do.
You can't unconnect with people on LinkedIn, can you?
Yeah, you can.
You can?
And yeah, and that's interesting that you said that, because somebody came up the other day, here, I'll go. So my notifications came up, and like this one. So she was someone I was connected with in the promotional products industry. And I don't need to be connected with her anymore because she's in Ohio, she's in the promo industry, I have no interest. So I just simply removed the connection.
Okay, so she won't come up in your feed or anything anymore?
Nope,
Does she
she's
know
done.
you did that?
No, it's not like that no more.
Okay.
Huh?
She doesn't know you just did that?
No.
Send her a direct message.
I don't think they have, so like Facebook has an app, if somebody deletes you, you can download like this app. So as soon as somebody deletes you, it like pops up on the app, like you've been deleted by, I'm like, oh, why did they delete me? But I don't think that LinkedIn, I've never heard that LinkedIn has an app where you can track who removes you from connections. Okay, so let's talk about outside of your connections and creating those connections with people you already know. Let's talk about how to search for people that you don't know and connect with them. So you just go to the search bar, and then you click on people. And then here, you can pick wherever you want, right? So I want Colorado Springs. And then I want third connections. Why do I want third connections? They don't know me. They're my, so the way it works, I have the little blue thing down at the bottom, okay? So there's you, then there's the people you know, which is your friends or whomever. Then there's your, just like Facebook, friends of friends. And then there's your strangers. And so you want to get to the strangers. That's where the free marketing's at, right? Like you may be spending money on marketing to people that don't know you when you could be doing it for free on LinkedIn. Okay, 30 minutes, I say. If you spend 30 minutes a week on LinkedIn, it could really generate revenue. 30 minutes, like no more. Don't get sucked into it. Don't waste your time with it. Be productive with it. Set like this week for 30 minutes, I'm going to accomplish this on LinkedIn. Week 2, I'm going to accomplish this. Be very diligent in your planning of accomplishing things. Okay, so third connections. So now I'm at third connections and I'm scrolling through. And so like I don't really care about, I mean I'm fine with being with some other financial people, but I have a couple of people in there already. I don't know what this guy does. Let's see what he does. I don't even know what the company is.
His own startup.
It is? Oh. Yeah, this is actually pretty interesting to me. So I may want to connect with him.
So you didn't already send him a message? That isn't what that means?
Nope, I just clicked on his profile, so let me go back real quick.
Yeah, but it looked like, so when the message comes up, that just means you want to send one, not that you've already sent.
Right.
I think with strangers, you have to send them a reason why you're asking them to connect.
Oh, yeah,
If there's
that's
no
right.
association.
I haven't been on there lately.
It depends. Oh, that's funny. So, so you'll see over here, people have their settings different. So I can connect with this Bill because he wants to network. So he wants people to connect with him. Bob, though, the guy that I was like, oh, I actually do kind of want to connect with him, he says that I have to message him first, just like what you're saying, to be able to explain to him, which is something that I put in here, is, you know, I said, personalize your connection request. So even if it's not that you're sending a message directly, but you are connecting with them, in the connection, you can put a message in there. If you don't put a message in there, LinkedIn has some generic one that's like, I'd like to add you to my network. Like, as soon as I see someone do that and it's so generic, I know that they're just clicking. Like, they're not really interested in me, they're just clicking. So now I'm gonna go dig into who they are and what they do to see if I really wanna be connected to them. So I suggest that anyone you connect with, whether it's via message like I have to with this Bob guy, or whether it's just simply connecting with Bill, like let's go connect with him. See how you can add a note? So if you send now, it'll be some generic message, but you can add a note. I would completely always add a note. And here I wrote in here, write something that just says, I'd like to connect with you because, and be direct, because, people, they can respect honesty. They'll have more value to that than you just being generic and just clicking connect. So, just say, I value you, we are in the same industry, or we do the same business together, or I wanna see if you're a vendor I'd like to use, or, whatever the reason is, for real, why you wanna connect with them, say that in the note. He'll connect with me, so.
Doesn't all the premium people have it where it just says message? I thought those were all the premium people.
No, you can put it in your settings, so basically, if it's not a public profile, you can change your settings so that only people that you're connected with can message you. There's a bunch of different settings where you can just change it to how you want to be approached. Because some people don't want to be annoyed with people doing the click through the connection button. Anybody have any questions about that in searching people? We can go back up. Hold on, let me go back up to the filters and see.
So just through the search bar, it's gonna let you drop down and break it down and, oh, I see.
Yeah, so if there's like a certain company you wanna go after, you can type in that company. You can even go more advanced. So like, remember how I said, have a connection with your competitors. So if you type in one of your competitors, I don't know who I have on mine. I'm trying to think really quick. It's not showing. So anyways, if you wanna like pick one of your competitors that you've gotten a connection with, then you can say, he's not a competitor of mine, but I want to see all people that Billy is connected to, and then I want to connect with them and be like, hey, I'm connected with Billy, and so I thought it'd be great if we got connected. Maybe we have some common interests. And then they might want to see what your common interest could be because they know and like and trust Billy.
Better hope it's somebody they like.
Most times, I would say that most time people aren't, competitors are creeping on other competitors, but, so yes, there is many different types of filters and things that you can be searching for on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is just being more intentional. Facebook is more like casting the net and then getting people to come into you. You are being more intentional and finding, cherry picking the ones you want to go after. So you could literally pick like, here's something that I do with some of my small business owners is like, who do you want to work with? Is everyone here B2C or are you guys B2B? B2B?
Both.
Both, okay. So like B2B, so if you're business to business, then it's super easy to find people on here. Make a list of your top 10 companies that you want. Like, sky's the limit. You never thought you were gonna get these people. Make that list. And then you can create your marketing on LinkedIn on how to make those connections with the right people in that company that you want. So then you climb up the ladder, whether it's through the HR or whatever the case may be, and ask questions. How do I just be direct? People like really value when you're direct with them instead of beating around the bush. Because I guarantee all your competitors are beating around the bush and sending like postcards and stuff. Yes?
We're a nonprofit in Salida, and we rely on foundations through grants. I'd like to hook up with Alice Walton and Warren Buffett. How can I do that to get big money from them?
Probably don't manage their own LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, So, I don't know who the other, I know Warren Buffett, but,
Alice Walton is, Sam Walton from
oh,
Walton.
gotcha. Yeah, those are really, they have, drawing a blank right now. What are those people called?
Intermediaries.
No, gatekeepers. They have gatekeepers upon gatekeepers upon gatekeepers upon gatekeepers. So what I would do is I would research who runs Warren Buffett's foundation.
Or nonprofit allocation.
Right. I would find out, because it's not Warren Buffett that you need to get to. He doesn't do anything. He has a small little house in Nebraska, you know, whatever. So, he's just making money, blinking. But find out who runs that organization that allocates all of that. So you have to do research through Google and go on the websites to figure all that out. Once you find out, because it'll have an about page or an employee, a staff list, so you'll have those names. Then, once you have those names, you come on LinkedIn, and then you make the connection, and you write a note and say exactly what you just said to me. We're a nonprofit in Colorado, and I'm really interested in submitting a proposal for funding for our nonprofit. How do I accomplish that? Ask the question. They'll give you the answer. They'll say, we're not accepting anything, we're not interested, or here's who you go to. Then you have your answer. You're welcome. Okay, moving forward. Back page. Okay, so now we'll get on to the premium accounts. So when I made that 1.6 million, we invested 20,000 into LinkedIn. Wow. 8 years ago, 9 years ago. So LinkedIn was crazy new. Like, people existed on it, but no one really knew how to function on it, much like they do still today. And so I worked for a $500 million company, and I went to the vice president of the company, and I said, I need $20,000 to do marketing on LinkedIn, and he laughed at me. I put together a long proposal, and I said, the return on investment is there. Sorry, I'm so short for everyone in the back. I should have worn heels today. But anyways, so it took me about 6 months to finally prove that the ROI was going to be there for LinkedIn, and that everything that they had been doing, because this is a company that's been around for 50 years. So, you know, they've been doing everything, and it's just fine. And I didn't want to be just fine, I wanted to be overachiever, so I wanted to do something different. So I said, give me 20,000, and if I don't make the 20,000 back, whatever I don't make back, you can take out of my salary. I was a single mom. I truly believed in the process because I knew I was going to be able to be the one to control it and make it happen. So we invested in the premium accounts. So that's why it says reactivate your premium account, because I used to have one.
But not anymore.
I will be getting, because I'm federally regulated.
Yeah, you guys are very, very.
I haven't quite figured out the sweet spot yet on how to utilize it best. So once I have the plan created, then, because we picked which one. So once for me, in my financial career, once I figured out the plan that's going to work well for me, then I'm going to utilize the sales one. So they have 4 different ones. You know, clearly, most people think LinkedIn is like, either there's high executives on LinkedIn or millennials that don't have a job. That's pretty much the consensus of what people think LinkedIn's about. So, for those millennials that don't have a job, they may want to upgrade their LinkedIn to the career one so that those recruiters and executives that are looking to hire people will be able to see them utilizing this career one and get hired. As a small business owner, you want to get hired by people, but it's not the same, so I wouldn't do that one. For business, grow and nurture your network. I just taught you how to do that for free, so I wouldn't necessarily say that you needed to do this. Maybe in a couple years after you've mastered it, maybe you could look into that one, but I definitely wouldn't jump into it until all of those things on the front side of that paper are completed and you feel as though you're actually communicating with people on LinkedIn. If you're not communicating with people on LinkedIn, you're not doing anything on LinkedIn. I probably talk to about 6 people on LinkedIn a day. I will answer my LinkedIn Messenger before I answer my phone. Just FYI. Like people that are on LinkedIn are on the Messenger. Okay, so the sales one. Find leads and accounts in your target market. So as a small business owner, that's what you want, right? You want leads. If you're doing marketing, then you're probably going to be paying for those leads. Somehow, some way, shape, or form, briefly you guys discussed the Facebook ads, and you're going to pay heavily to do real ads and hoping that you did it right and well to actually get that return back. So you can do that too on LinkedIn, but again, this is after you've already mastered the free version of LinkedIn. And then, if you are, so as a small business owner, when you grow, you should be adding on employees. And this is a really great place to find them as opposed to Craigslist. How many people, show of hands, how many people have ever tried to hire someone on Craigslist?
Hire someone. Market on Craigslist.
How does that work for you, Eileen, on Craigslist? No. You get the whole gamut of people, it's not filtered. I know, my husband, for instance, he's blue collar and he does flooring. He doesn't have a LinkedIn. He doesn't even go on the computer. But if you're looking for professionals, people that you can really keep as employees, then they're going to be on a professional platform like LinkedIn. They're not going to be looking for their job on Craigslist. Does that make sense? Okay. So overall, the thing to remember is just your LinkedIn needs to represent why are you valuable. If you're not being direct on your LinkedIn on why you're valuable, then no one's going to want to connect with you or talk with you or do business with you or anything. Because as we know in our culture, it's not about me, it's about you. And so if I make it about me and everything that I can do and how awesome I am, then you really don't care. But if I come to you, I like Relive. If I come to you and I say, how's your day? And did you know that I can help you with figuring out how to budget your money so that you can then increase your revenue? I'm adding value to you, and I do it for free.
Free is good.
Free is good, right? Now you want to talk to me because I just proposed why I can be of value to you. Not just look at me, I'm awesome. Okay? So, in doing that and showing your value, just make sure that, again, in all of those jobs and anything in your past or whatever, that you're showing where you learned it from. Because it just creates credibility. I went over, so I'm at tips and tricks. Oh, recommendations. Okay, so I briefly touched on this. So another tangible thing that I'd like for you guys to create, to add into your plan, when I was talking about, okay, so being federally licensed, I'm not allowed to have any testimonials, so therefore I can't have any recommendations. So all of my recommendations for the last 9 years had to be turned off, and so you can't see them. So I'd love to turn them on for you, but then I'll get this big warning thing. It's really crazy. So, so I can't show you, because it's not, let me go on someone else's. Maybe Carissa has some on hers. Nope. See? Another reason why it's bad. No credibility. Okay. Oh, he hasn't received it, but he's given some. Dang it. Let me find someone else. Dustin, do you have any recommendations on your LinkedIn? Failed. Okay, let me see. Hold on. I don't even know who these people are. Let's try this guy. this guy is a marketing person and a web designer, and he doesn't even have recommendations.
I know
Hey.
someone,
Huh?
Justin Bradley.
Thank you.
Be in Tennessee, you might have to do it.
Oh, I got my capsule.
Rat.
I know. You see him? Oh, I'm probably not gonna be able to see him because he's not connected to me.
Yeah. No, that's not. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm probably not gonna see him. Hold on. Sorry about that. I should have been more prepared for the recommendations. There's gotta be someone I searched recently. Let me see.
So while you're doing this, can you tell me, you said you spent 22 or whatever it was million with the LinkedIn?
20,000.
20,000, okay, so 20.
A month like that.
That would be different. But was that, in stock, is that, I mean, for what? I mean, because it's not,
It was for that premium, for a premium package, so.
that's how much it cost back then?
No, so
Type of
this
level
one,
you did it
so
for.
the 4 that I showed you,
Yeah.
that's for like personal premium packages. Those cost like $59.99 a month, $79.99 a month. I went through, I had my own person at LinkedIn. So I literally called LinkedIn and said, I wanna do some serious business. And so I had my own connection who trained me on how to make that money on LinkedIn. And so it's called Business Solutions. And so they have different tiers on what you want to accomplish and what your goals are. So for that particular one, it allowed me to email and message anyone that I wanted to. So here, for the free version, or even when you pay for the premium ones, you can't really get connected with every single person. You have to have your connections up to then be able to get to a third connection. Anyone past the third connection, you might not be able to get to or see or connect with. So,
Unless you have the premium packages, correct?
even if you have a premium, you might not, the one I had was literally like LinkedIn was unlocked. I had access to anyone and everyone, and they couldn't not see me if I wanted them, type of thing. So for that position, I was business development, where I bought small companies and then brought them onto our $500 million company, so small acquisitions. And so that way, how was I gonna find companies across the country that were mom and pop, like print shops? Where you get your promo pieces in from, where they're drowning in their work, they don't know how to run their business, they don't have a return. How am I gonna find them? So I started finding them on LinkedIn, and then I would send my regional vice presidents out just to close the deal.
Nice.
So all I did was I would message them and say, hey, I'm with Halo. Everybody knew that company because it was a large company, and said, I'm interested in sending one of my regional vice presidents out to meet with you and get to know your business. Is that something you'd be interested in? And then they may say yes, no, or not now. And either way it went, I then had a communication with them, and I was like, hey, do you mind if I have your address? I'd like to send you a thank you card. So then what everyone knows in small business, follow-up is gold, right? So you grab them, you start the connection, and then you have to follow up with them. So I followed up and sent them something like, hey, if you meet with one of my regional vice presidents at the meeting, they'll bring you Maui Jim sunglasses. Which one do you want? Do you know how much Maui Jim sunglasses are?
The guilt gift.
Mm-hmm.
I heard a call today.
Yes, sir.
I sent you a connection request, I have a few.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that one's interesting. That one just came in. Did somebody do that here? No. That's weird. I just got this connection. So this is interesting. Let me just go here real quick. So this literally just came up. This guy is an accountant at a law firm. what's interesting is I've been trying to make connections with different law firms because my clients always need a lawyer, whether it's a business lawyer, personal injury lawyer, workman's compensation, whatever the case may be. So I'm a resource for all my clients. I'm the number one shop. You come to me, I tell you who to go and see. And so I've been looking for law firms to get connected with. I have no idea who these people are. And he's the accountant at the law firm, which I love being connected to accountants. Why? Because they know people's money. So this is really great. And then what did he do? He did exactly what I told you guys that you should do. So he didn't just send me a request. He said, I just want to say hello and compliment you on your beautiful profile photo. Okay, personally I'm married, so I don't really like that, so I don't suggest that you do something like that. That's a little creepy.
Not the environment.
But the moral of the story is that he did more. He put that effort in. So even though the message was creepy, and I don't usually, it's maybe happened like 3 times or something. This is somebody that I actually am interested in connecting with. So I'm gonna accept him. He's probably gonna send me a message, and then if he says something really crazy off the wall, then I'm going to remove that connection. But I'll at least give it a shot and see if it's a good connection. Okay, I'm sorry, your connection went away. What was your name?
Dave Gustafson. There.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
Does the person that gives you recommendation have to be on LinkedIn as a person?
Yeah, and so you and I'm glad that you said that. So you probably wouldn't want someone who doesn't have their profile filled out, right? If they just exist, they may not have a profile picture and they just signed up for LinkedIn because somebody told them to at one point in time or whatever, and then they did nothing with it, and then you call them like, hey, can you go on there really quick and make me a recommendation? It's not really gonna create you any value because they're not valuable. That makes sense. So good, I'm glad that you brought that up. Can I make a few? Okay. So, in our day and age, nobody reads. So what I would do is I'm really proud of you for having this all filled out, and it, hindsight, well not hindsight, but big picture, it looks really good by having it all filled out. What I would do differently is I would use like bullet points and kind of list things, because your stuff probably isn't, like, just in general, what you do isn't probably the sexiest, right? So, so you have to kind of make it look sexy, and so that people actually read it. Because after I get to the first sentence is very short. So the second sentence is like almost 3 lines long, and if you just, made it shorter and concise, I would definitely do that just so it's more readable. But other than that, I mean, it's great that it's all filled in. Okay. Yeah, all this, and I didn't touch on that on mine either, but like any volunteer experience, like I used to be the coach for youth tackle cheerleaders, like for little girls, I have that on there because, again, it's creating that authenticity of how I'm different from somebody else. Like, I care about kids, clearly, and I care about football, right? So then it, like, allows people to find commonalities as well. I didn't go over the skills and endorsements. Those are really good, but I wouldn't waste time on them. It's nice to have, and those will come. As you're connecting with people and as you're on LinkedIn, all of those will exist. So that's why I didn't put it on the paper, because I don't want you wasting your time on all of that, because people aren't going on people's LinkedIn and seeing what the list of skills are, right? We're gonna show that in the actual profile and through the recommendations. Okay, so here he has not only received 3 recommendations, but he's also given 7. So it's important to receive and give, because again, it's creating that I'm actually on LinkedIn and I'm doing something and I'm giving back. So he's giving value, providing value to other people. So then here, somebody had wrote a recommendation that talks about how professional he is, how he was a pleasure to work with, then goes into, his technical expertise, his abilities, his involvement, and then that person would says, I would wholeheartedly recommend Dave. So, I mean, that is a perfect recommendation, and you really wouldn't have to coach anyone to, did you coach that person to do that?
You wrote that.
See, he wrote that. And that's literally everything that I said we need people to see, is then it's going to affirm everything you said in your summary, it's gonna affirm everything that you had in your profile, and then now you're a real person, and you just bridged the gap on being a stranger who just owns a business.
So for businesses with multiple employees, recommendations also would be for your company. So say like, I didn't go do the jobs, some bought the job. So then obviously, like if you're asking for a recommendation, would you say like, Bob did a great job, or would it be like, oh, that company is awesome, they did a good job?
One of their employees, Bob, worked with me personally, and you know, they could totally call that person out within it.
You still want recommendations based on your company, not necessarily just you.
Right, yeah, either or, because it's still providing value to you, because you are the company, right? So either one, whether it's your name or the business name or the employee of the business, is still connected to you in the long run.
Is there a way to share recommendations? Like text, so like if me and Bob are both on LinkedIn and it was Bob that did the service, but I'm the owner, and now I want Jill's recommendation for me and for Bob. Is there a way to do that or no? You just have to go on there and copy and paste.
I don't think so. I've never done that before.
Wouldn't it have to be individual Bob's and her separate?
Right. So yeah, so I mean, there's no share buttons. So yeah, that wouldn't work. They would have to do it on each person's profile. Okay, any other questions about recommendations? Yes.
What are your thoughts on having recommendations that are basically the same testimonials that you have on your website? Same people.
Actually, so when I did web design and marketing, I would create testimonials and put them on websites, right? They wouldn't really be
Mine are real.
testimonials. So with that being said, right, having those testimonials on your LinkedIn and then people seeing them again on your website brings what? Authenticity to it.
Mm-hmm.
So now they know that it's real, because you can't fake that. Someone had to type that in. You couldn't do that. But on your website, you can totally do that. I can put the little quotation marks and I can write some happy, pretty things and make everything sound good. There's nothing illegal to doing that. Maybe,
So,
you know,
we
ethical.
So if we.
Someone said it. Sorry. Go ahead, Kim.
You're cheating, you're trying.
It's the gray area.
Right. So we do a lot where when we're doing our closing meeting with a client, we'll talk about the BBB, and if you'd like the services that you've received with Beneficent, then please go ahead and put that on the BBB site. We will send you an email. You just click on it. So we've been getting more and more by doing that.
Yeah.
All right, so should I be trying, because we are just now getting on LinkedIn. So I'm from scratch having to start building this LinkedIn for the company. So I'm like, where to start? And then as far as that, would I do the same type of approach where, hey, do this on BB, and hey, do this on LinkedIn?
So for yours,
Yeah.
for yours in particular, I always encourage people to do the emails with the links to it. I mean, what is it gonna hurt if you add, I tell people, after you close business with someone, you always send that thank you follow-up email, and then say, you know, would you mind, to be direct, I'm always be direct.
And she is.
Right, and so, adding all of the links, and then if people choose to do more than one, then they choose to. But if we cherry pick which ones, then what if they do none?
Okay, So we can just add on the LinkedIn, right after the BBB?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would even put, so like you would would you have like a sentence right before the BBB? We would
Yes.
like it if you clicked and wrote us a review on the BBB, thank you very much, or something.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So then on the line for LinkedIn, I would say something like, are you on LinkedIn? We'd love to connect with you, and please feel free to leave a recommendation.
Okay.
So then, that's a way that you're being proactive on gaining your connections instead of you physically having to go do it too.
Right.
Yes.
So like for the BBB, there's not, and I have like I exist on them, but I don't exist. So is it, you just have to have a personal page, right? So like my husband, myself, my father-in-law, we'd all have personal pages. And so we would just pick one that's we're kind of gonna steer people to write a recommendation, or can we have a business page?
Yeah,
We made a business page, because I thought we had to.
you can make one. You can,
It just doesn't serve
you,
the
you
same
can, so,
You do it from the owner's page, the owner's profile, and that's what you add it.
so like you have company page, so this is the company that I used to work for, that I've been talking to you guys about, so that's why I'm pulling it up. So, this is a company page. Using a profile as the company, how are you gonna accomplish everything on here
as a company.
as a company?
Okay, so how do you link that then?
So,
So should I be on my personal one, and then?
So I would, what you said, I would pick someone's, that's the person that's representing the company that you're going to utilize for marketing. So whether it's yours and everyone knows you, because you're in a lot of meetings, or whether it's Stacy, the owner, and you have access to her LinkedIn and she's not using it personally. So, whoever is going to be the one utilizing the marketing, then I would pour in and focus all of this personal stuff because you're the one personally making those connections and building
Still have
it.
a business page.
You can have a company page
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
company.
That
That's
just
right.
lives on.
that just exists, so that way when you go to put your job of you being the owner of it, it then links to this.
Yes, it is, my personal is, because I'm an employee there, it is linked. She is the owner of the company, she is the.
So when
owner
it's
of the
linked,
page.
we're not connected, are we, Kim? We're connected on Facebook, but not LinkedIn.
My sister just told me that I should be a prime example of I suck.
No,
So-
I didn't.
Just because she has a cover page, this stock picture. Yes, this is my sister Lisa.
So like here, you would have where you work.
Right, it's up above.
Yeah,
Here's my
she
current-
has it, you don't update it.
Where?
You need to update it. You don't have your current job. Your current job's supposed to be there, and then you go in chronological order. Do I have to? No, you can add it.
You thought you updated it? Maybe it just didn't
Yes.
save? Did you do Kimberly?
No, Kim Searles Business Development, Beneficent, Medicaid Consulting Group, oh, it's right here. I don't know.
That's weird. Right here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, her experience is updated on her, on this one.
Okay, I suck. We can talk about this later.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But you can go to Stacy's page,
Yeah, 'cause
and then
mine's-
Stacy, they go.
Maybe someone has.
Is it EY?
Copied me, Stacy. No, Stacy, yeah.
Was-
SBACY, Osborne.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then she made a business page, Beneficent.
I don't even see her.
She is premium.
And she's also Stacy Kelly Osborne. Maybe that's the reason.
That's weird. There it goes.
Okay,
and that's her personal one, and then she made a business, see to the right where it says beneficent?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's
so
a
that's
good
the
one.
company one.
Yeah, so then this is the business page, so it already exists.
Yes.
So you're not gonna be focusing, I mean, you can build the followers, but if you build from your personal LinkedIn page, you can then, like, people will eventually go to that because it'll be listed on yours and clickable for them to follow.
Okay, so I should be doing it on my own personal.
But they can't.
Or
do reviews.
Stacy's, if Stacy would give you access, I don't know if she really goes on LinkedIn.
Can they do reviews on this company page itself? Or does it have to be on Kim's personal profile?
Cause I am as an admin on the LinkedIn, on
The business one?
Yeah.
Let me go to a different one. So, just real quick, just since I'm on here, I would totally change this picture to her with some, like, you know, qualified prospects, right?
Yes.
Cause the building,
Right.
and I know where it is, but I don't, you know, like, it's in like. Alright, hold on, let me go back really quick.
Or like the team or something, right?
Well, honestly, I would do prospects. I would get some clients that, yeah, there's pictures I saw, of her with people, and I would do that because, or the team with people that are prospects or clients, because again, you're with people, so then it's creating value. If it's just the team, then it's like me, look at us, we're the team. When it's not about the team, it's about helping people.
So isn't you have to get, permission from people to do that, right? When I was interim, or was that a HIPAA thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's.
We had to get permission. If we did any pictures of somebody on any kind of social media, we had to get an authorization for, so.
That's different.
I mean, you can ask them, and if they have a problem with it, then don't do it.
Okay.
You know, but Stacy might want to have, just because of who Stacy, I would see that she would probably want a piece of paper with it, but nobody really minds doing that. They do it for like schools and everything for kids, but as far as adults, like everyone's on the internet, their pictures are everywhere.
Great, okay.
So I wouldn't worry about it nowadays. I just wanted to see really quick. I don't see anything.
Are you on Stacy right now?
No, I'm on the company I used to work for. I wanted to see, because this is more established, I just wanted to see if there was any type of recommendations, and there are not.
So you can post jobs and stuff.
Recommendations disappear over time.
No. What do you mean?
I was asking if they would.
So
Oh,
say-
if they disappear, no. I'm on a company page, and so I didn't know, I don't remember.
They are timestamped though, I think.
Yeah, they do say when it was. So you always want to, and that's what I put on here. So, you know, ask, like once a week, ask for 5 recommendations. Not everybody's gonna do it. So just because you ask for 5 once a week, it doesn't mean you're gonna get 5. And so just make sure that you're putting it into the plan and that you're always asking for recommendations because they are time-stamped. So you don't want all of your recommendations to be from 4 years ago, because then what have you been doing for the last 4 years? Maybe you suck now. But so you want to just stay consistent that, you know, you are who everyone is saying that you are. Any other questions about recommendations?
Oh, I guess just LinkedIn in general.
Oh, go ahead.
So we've kind of been hinting at this the entire time. How much value is there to be had out of really working LinkedIn if the average user only uses it on a surface level? You obviously have a lot more experience with it than I do. My
Right.
experience kind of involves around someone I meet at a networking event, we connect, maybe a message to schedule a one-on-one, and then that's pretty much the extent. And from my understanding, from getting everyone else's opinion, is they're on that same level. So I'm curious, if I really start to actively use it, am I really going to get that much engagement out of other people?
So what if I countered you back with, what about all the people that you aren't meeting through
But
networking?
I'm asking about
Yeah, so
yeah.
like the bigger fish
Yeah.
are on LinkedIn.
Okay, so there
All
is,
the small fish are going to networking things.
yeah, so there is people that actively pay attention to and use LinkedIn
Yeah,
beyond the fact that they're just there.
it's the big money people that are on LinkedIn.
Okay, and like actually on it daily, creating articles, and I've seen some people do, but I'm just curious on if a lot of people do and I just haven't been paying attention to it, or if the average person just kind of uses it on the surface level.
Yeah, the average person probably does use it on a surface level. So it'd be a touch, right, for the average person. It'd be those just to connect, to have that one-on-one or that coffee or to schedule that meeting or whatever. But it's for you to open up your scope to get to the bigger fish.
So let me use
To
this.
have the bigger
Yeah,
fish.
'cause I'm a real estate agent. So let's say I want to go on and check to see if people are looking for jobs in Colorado Springs from Pennsylvania or New York or something like that. Are people most likely going to be updating their profile with that information very much, or is it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's just not something really worth looking into.
No, for a realtor, how would you use LinkedIn?
I can see a lot of different ways. I just need to know if it's going to be that much, I guess, recent activity to where I can get some information on people to reach out to.
I would say for you, the main focus would be so that people can see why you're different than all the other 5 realtors that are in the city.
Of course, as always.
So that's one. And then 2 is, if you as a realtor, as any business owner, you should, and I tell people this when I do consulting, it's the number one thing. People come in and say, help me make money. And I say, who's your target market? And then people say, oh, everyone is, or, something like that. I have my target market down to what wine they drink. So just real quick. So then if you are in groups that your target market would be in, then you're gonna connect with them through those groups.
Yep.
So it might be a different, and I didn't even get to the whole groups thing that's on here, but I would do it through interests. So whoever your target market is that you're looking at, then what are they interested in, and then be a part of that group, and then you'll find people, and you can be direct and ask, does anybody know anyone that's moving, whatever the case may be.
So there is ways to kind of accomplish it. I'm just curious
Yeah.
if it's worth the time investment, or if time should be better spent on other social media platforms for my own purpose, is what I'm getting at.
30 minutes a week.
Just keep it
What
to
do you,
that.
there are so many things that we all do 30 minutes a week that make us zero money, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want you to spend 5 hours on LinkedIn, 30 minutes a week on LinkedIn doing something to just sharpen your craft. There was a question in the back.
It was just a comment. I was gonna say how the other presenter was saying different platforms have different purposes. LinkedIn might not be the best way to reach new customers as a realtor, but for like ongoing customer service, like
Oh, yeah.
lenders and tree trimmers and things like that. Like I was at his house if the fence was rebuilt, and then you're like using LinkedIn.
Yeah, for that purpose. I was just curious if there was more stuff that I was kind of missing out on, because I haven't given it the due diligence that I needed to.
I think groups would be a good area for you. Yes.
Groups, but also you would look at what companies are hiring. and then
Oh, that's
look at those
exactly
companies
what I
and
was getting at. I just didn't know if people kept their information that
It's not gonna be
recent.
the people saying, hey, I'm moving.
It's
It's
the
gonna be the
companies.
companies that are
Oh.
hiring, so who's coming to town.
See, that's
So go
exactly the type of nuggets I'm looking at.
So go on the back end of
Yes.
that. So what he's saying, no, you caught it, but, so what he's saying is, look up the companies in Colorado Springs that are hiring, reach out to the HR manager, right? Connect with that HR manager and say, I'm a local real estate agent, I specialize in relocation. Do you guys have anyone that your company works with? Then you can end up being the #1 go-to realtor for that company anytime they're bringing someone in from out of state.
Yep, and even, but on that level, their companies do keep concurrent with that, right? So if I saw that information, it would be reliable enough to go
Yeah,
after?
completely.
Okay.
LinkedIn is a huge recruiting.
Okay.
Huge. So that is a great way to do it. Go on the back end.
How do companies manage, if you're using all of your engagement through a personal profile, how would a company manage like employee turnover? If the face you were using left your company, all the recommendations that were on their page go with them.
Which is why I was saying to Kim that she would probably want to access Stacy's because Stacy's the owner. So you would more or less want to do the owner so that it's going to be always that person. Cause either, if the owner goes away, then the company's either sold or it's just gone. So then at that time, it doesn't matter. Yes?
Is there a cap to the amount of people you can be connected with on LinkedIn?
Mm-mm.
So really, it's just another free advertising tool, no matter what business you have, as long as you're, like she was saying with Facebook, putting content out there and getting connected and letting everybody know what you're doing and who you are and what differentiates you.
Yeah, and I myself, you know, I have a calendar, just like they were talking about for Facebook, content calendar. You don't always want to be selling yourself. But I have 1,615 followers, and mine's not even fully filled out because I can't. So I have people that are watching everything that I post, and everything that I post, you know, here I'm literally talking about dental insurance. So then that way so people know, like, I'm a financial advisor. Most financial advisors don't sell dental insurance. I do. So I want to post that just so people are aware of it. I don't expect them to call me for dental insurance, but they're going to remember, hey, Jackie does dental insurance when they hear someone say that. Then I have, you know, articles. I just find articles and then post them on there. And people are engaging in those, not that one per se. Oh, there's 168 views. But people are engaging in them because it's about being professional. And then here I sell life insurance, so I want people to know that, so I put that out there. And then starter homes. I'm not a real estate agent, right? But I know that everybody's buying homes, so I'm gonna post something about buying a home, because also if someone's buying a home, they should come see me because their finances are different now. So, you know, there's different things like that. And so if people are, you know, if they comment on them, there's some that we're getting good comments. It's really weird. It's super random on who actually
Yeah, so
does
stuff
it.
like this is kind of, I was asking, do you get a lot of engagement out of stuff like this?
It really varies. Like this personal one where, you know, where it's actually a picture of me, it had more presence. See how it had like 1,100 views?
Mm-hmm.
So it had more presence because I had a lot of likes and then people actually commented. You don't need as much for people to see it as you do on Facebook. Facebook, you need a lot for you to be seen. Why? Because there's more people that are actively on Facebook than there are on LinkedIn. So you don't need to put forth as much effort when it comes to the content and the posting. See, like this has nothing to do with my job, but it's about being professional.
Do you have to get permission to share those articles?
No.
So how often would you post something new? Weekly or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure my assistant does this, so I don't remember what I told her to do. Let's see, 3 weeks, so probably twice a week.
Just so she sees the articles.
No, we have them,
Ready to go.
mhm. Yeah, I do it a quarter at a time, so 3 months. So I have all my posts for Facebook and LinkedIn already scheduled, already ready to go. And then sometimes when there's a personal thing, like I accepted an award in Utah, she posted on here, and then it was so horrible, she forgot to like put the hashtags on, and I was like, what are you doing? I don't know what it is. Oh, there it is. So yeah, I received an award, and she forgot to like hashtag Mutual of Omaha. But anyways, we're working on the hashtag things. So, you know, that one had like 25 likes and only 2 comments. But those personal ones, we just interject when something happens, because you do want to throw those personal ones in there, so that's not just articles that you're posting, just a variety. You know, when I do my calendar, it's like one post is going to be about absolutely nothing about my business. This is for Facebook or LinkedIn. And then the next post is going to be about a product or service that I provide, so that people are getting constantly educated on everything that I can help them with. And then,
Like you say, isn't it like, doesn't it say on your page, isn't it like 10 to 1 or something like that?
mine's probably 3 to 1.
Okay.
On Facebook and LinkedIn.
I'm talking Facebook. I think for 10 to 1 is just the general rule of thumb. Because I know from my perspective, people don't like seeing our type of stuff that often.
So yours, people like seeing market updates and going Facebook Live.
Even that, it's a little bit more finicky because people get kind of inundated with that stuff because there's such a high amount of real estate agents on Facebook that you have to really, really try to keep it sparse. But at the same time, like what you're saying, I know you want to make sure that people are aware of what you're doing and the services you offer, but.
Don't worry about other realtors, because there's a lot that aren't doing it well. So worry about you doing it well instead of what everyone else is doing. Don't not do something because like a lot of others are doing it. Do it better than them, type of thing. Okay, join a group. So the reason why you want to join a group is because you can meet other people in the group to expand your connections. It also allows you professional development is always key in being a small business owner. So then that way, if you're in groups, then you can also increase your professional development through that and increase your knowledge base. Follow companies. It makes you look good. I mean, that's simple as that. If you follow companies that are of value, that are in your industry, you know, that are recognizable, it matters. Like I saw on Carissa's that she followed Facebook. Who cares? Like nobody cares that she's following Facebook. So be intentional with the companies that you are following because, you know, if they're like a larger company than what you are, then it looks good because you're connected with them. So, is there any other general questions? I know we gotta go and be done. Anyone else? I dumped enough in? Yes.
When you talk about groups, what kind of groups are there to join in?
Everything.
What's your industry?
Home care.
Look at this, I just got another one from a law office. What is going on right now?
You made a comment that you need lawyers.
I was like, what is going on? Okay, I'm like, I'm just speaking into existence. Okay, so, oh, I don't even remember how to get into groups, so maybe it's on my page. Yikes, sorry. Go there now, let me go in really quick. Interest? Now I'm lost. Oh, there we go. Okay. So I'm a public speaker. I'm a Toastmaster and all that. So like here, you know, if I want to find a speaking gig, then you know you can look and find what groups that you want to be in and find things of interest. So like if you type in home care. There's companies, see the group, home care and healthcare advocacy. So basically just type into the search anything that you think you would want to be a group in and see if it's already a group. More than likely, there's going to be a group for it.
Does it matter if it's local or not?
It depends on what you're trying to get out of the group. You know, for this one, for her, it would be, you know, to gain knowledge, to make connections, to get better at what you're doing, because what about what other people are doing in the same industry that aren't in your area, that aren't your competitor, right?
Now,
that are similar to you.
Is that just pulling from your profile or from everybody?
Yeah, that's pulling from the LinkedIn network. Yeah, I'm not connected to anything home care.
Are there any groups you would recommend being a part of in general for everyone?
No.
Are there closed and open groups? Are there groups you have to get permission to join versus not? Because I used to be in a lot of groups and they all turned into giant spam machines, except for the groups that were closed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd avoid the ones that were open unless it was really important to be in that one.
Yeah, so all of them are an ask to join.
Are they? They didn't used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And some of them may just automatically add you, you know, but you still have to like connect to it. Anybody else? Last
Yeah, you guys are welcome to still ask questions, but I do think for the sake of time, if you guys do want to go, you're welcome and you're dismissed. So, thank you for coming.
Just one last thing, if you guys ever have any questions or you get stuck on something or whatever the case may be, you can literally just Google me, because of course my SEO is good. And you can contact me through Google, Jacqueline Stables. I have cards if you do want them, but but you can find me anywhere. I'm everywhere.